Would you like to support the Insiders? Pick up some merch now. Support us by getting a shirt, a hoodie, support Abby's window, get a Shenanigans shirt, whatever you'd like. Pick up some merch now. Insiders Pro Wrestling. The link is at the end of the video.
What's going on, everybody? It is Sunday, and we are back with our Between the Ropes show. It's been a while. Been a long while. Right? Like the song says. Yes, it's been a while since we've done this. We really enjoyed doing this show, and it's good to be back. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, like we always seem to, Jeff, whenever we need to do this show. But I mean, coming off a pay-per-view this week, coming off some, great wrestling throughout the week, and not a whole lot of, breaking news out there, which can sometimes be good because a lot of that ends up being not so good sometimes. So, but I'm glad to be back, and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And if you haven't heard before, later in the show, instead of our Book of Wrestler, we're doing something a little different, and we're going to do our favorite match or matches of all time. Thought about this during last week's streams, and we talked about it. So I saw Derek was getting prepared. So those of you who are in the chat, make sure you come prepared tonight. I told you had homework. So if you showed up for the show, you have homework. So you got to let us know later on when we get to that segment, what are your favorite matches of all time? There's no criteria. This is all personal. This is personal to you, personal to us. Really no criteria for it. We're not sitting here saying they have to be a certain thing, a certain amount of stars. It doesn't matter. This is all just personal, and what are some of your favorite matches ever? And just think of things maybe that come off the top of your head that you can just remember right off the bat that just really impressed you, or you just really enjoyed, or like me, you just mark out at. So, so keep that in mind. Jeff, what's going on, man? Like I said, good to be back.
Good to be back. I'm going to test something live here.
Ooh.
So tell me if you can hear this. Could you hear that?
I could not.
Okay, that's not good, but that's okay. That's okay. Hopefully, I don't know if people out there can hear it.
Did you guys hear anything? I could not hear anything.
Let me know if you hear anything. If you didn't, that's okay. We'll figure it out as we go.
Jeff's trying to fix his soundboard.
Yeah,
to get
it's just not not being very nice to me.
To get the sound effects back. Alicia says no. Jeremy says no. Yeah, no, I couldn't hear anything either.
Right. That's fine.
Well, it's a work in progress. Well, now see, I heard that.
You heard that. Okay.
Yes, I heard that. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I heard that. So.
Okay.
All right. Well, there you go. Work in progress while we're doing stuff. All right. I'm going to welcome some people in. We'll say hello, and then we will get into it. So before we do, as far as content is concerned, so of course tonight's show, tomorrow night, another big episode of Abby's because of what we got on Friday. Went back and watched SmackDown, and I think I was as blown away the first time as everybody else. Very, very cryptic Firefly Funhouse, and lots of stuff in that's going to need to get taken apart and analyzed. The one thing that I pulled out of it was, and to me, there is no doubt in my mind that we got Eric Young on that video as the narrator when they were talking about the secret, when they were doing the game show part. That was without a doubt Eric Young's voice, without a doubt. And Jeff and I have been watching Impact. You know his voice is raspy. The very next day I told Jeff to listen to it. Jeff agreed. That is without a doubt Eric Young's voice. Now, does it mean anything? Maybe not, because he could be just working for them, helping to do promos backstage and stuff like that, maybe doing voiceovers. So it could be nothing. Then again, it could be something. Usually things that Bray Wyatt talks about are something. So join us for Abby's tomorrow. I am subbing in for Jeff. So Jeff's tagging out. I'm tagging in. Jeff's got a board meeting to go to tomorrow for work. So Jeff will not be there. I will be there. So I'll join myself and, of course, Jody and, of course, Dom as well. And we will be there to talk all about what happened in this Firefly Funhouse. What did it all mean? We'll go over that all tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And Joe might have a theory that I threw out at him that he'll share. That's mine. So, yeah. It'll be it'll be fun, even though I'll be doing a board meeting, but it'll be all good.
Jeff and I Jeff shared a theory with me, so I definitely will read that out to you guys and let you know what Jeff's thoughts are on that as well. But it's getting interesting, and either way, I think it's going to be cool. I know what a lot of people are thinking. I mean, the phrase itself, can you keep a secret? We all know where that emanated from originally. So, everybody, the red light, so many hints. Is he coming back? I mean, it could be. So we'll have to see. But join us for that tomorrow night at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm sure there'll be Abby's overtime, as we've been doing that for the past few weeks now. So join us for that. And then nothing Tuesday, nothing Wednesday. Thursday, be back with Impact Wrestling. And that's a follow-up to No Surrender, which was amazing. A fantastic show for Impact. Voted by Busted Open, of course they did, as their shows of the week. Mark Henry voted it his show of the week, and you would think they would. They're promoting themselves a little bit too, but yeah, it was really tremendous, and so that is a follow-up show for that. See where that's going. So join us on Thursday for Impact as well. At normal start time, 7:45 p.m. All right, let me welcome some people in. We've got James Grant talking about the season pass getting leaked. Jeremy Dunderman. Hey, Jeremy. Jeremy is a member of our channel. Thank you for being a member of the channel. Appreciate that. Derek Fleming. Yes. That worked. Derek says he's been stressing about his favorite match of all time.
Don't stress, man. Don't
stress, dude. It's not really that important. It's he said 3 in no specific order. Yeah, it seems like people have multiples. That's okay. Dylan McClure is here. Big Dan is here. We've got James Grant, like I said. Chad Schrader, Jeremy is here. Ramit is here. Hello to you. James Chadwick is in the house. What's up, James? Brandon is here. Weekend's been good. Work weekend for me, but I'm just kind of glad it's over. Bonus Baby's in the house. Hello to you. We've got Alicia. Hey, Alicia. We've got the Coog. We've got Anthony Slade. Hello, Anthony, a member of our channel as well. Thank you for being a member.
There we go.
You've got your own applause. Look at that. James says, what if we have a list of 10? Everybody's all stressing about the match. There you go. Barry Monkey from Twitch. Hey, Barry, how are you? We've got, let's see, Dana. Hey, Dana. We've got everybody's still, I'm behind here because everybody's still saying they heard that one. Bonkers LFC, Alexa Bliss Gamer 0809. We've got James saying that Funhouse was really good. Brandon Davey is here. We're doing well. Jeff the Guru says James Chadwick. Yes. We have Mark is here. I have one best match of all time. We'll get to that later. We've got Michael King, a member of the channel. Michael King, thank you so much. There it is. There we go. Sean Rousset. Hey, Sean, how are you? We've got, let's see if I missed anybody. Looking like I caught up. Jason Peace, a member of the channel. Kind of digging the standing ovations. We've got Conrad is here. Hey, yo, what's up, Conrad? How are you? How many favorite matches? Only in Impact? No, it could be anything, Dana. Anything you choose. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Okay. I think I'm caught up. Yes, we are good. So we're going to get started. Of course, we're going to get started with the we don't really have any breaking news that I could think of. The only things I'm trying to think of, is there anything going on? I don't think there's really nothing really about. I mean, I guess the I did just check about the stuff about 2K23. I couldn't find anything that was leaked per se. I looked on Twitter, I looked on the internet and stuff like that. I couldn't see anything in particular. A lot of people speculating. There was someone who said Bray Wyatt and oh gosh, who's the other one? Oh man, there's somebody else that they mentioned. I mean, of course they're going to say Bray Wyatt. So Wade Barrett of all people. It was kind of weird. But Bray and Wade Barrett were the two that were talked about. So, which again, I'm sure they're going to say that Bray Wyatt is in there, of course. But we'll see. I'm sure that will get announced soon. Let's see what else. I know Money in the Bank sold out in like minutes.
That's crazy.
I literally think it was 4 minutes that they announced on SmackDown that it sold out in. That's insane. And people overseas are saying, hey, WWE, let's go. Let's bring us a WrestleMania to the overseas area at some point. You know what? Keep selling out shows like that. Then, yeah, I'm sure that they will because that's insane. 4 minutes. I mean, kudos to you guys. And I know some of our community are going, so that's going to be awesome. I'm sure that's going to be a fantastic match and a lot of fun. What else? I listened to a really good show. You know, I listened to. You all know I listened to Busted Open, but they had a really good show today because they, and of course, have like Greca. They're selling that whole thing with Bully and Tommy and Dave. So Mark Henry had a Black History Month show, an episode with the New Day, which was a fantastic listen. Go and check out the podcast. It's only about maybe 42 or 43 minutes long, but listen to it. It really is tremendous. You got to hear from Big E, which was great. He sounded awesome. And they were all kind of talking about how, you know, when Mark kind of was first in wrestling, it was only him and one other person who were people of color. And then all of a sudden, you know, they talked about the New Day and the foundation that they've built for people in the future. And you hear a lot from Xavier Woods and it was just a really great conversation. So go and check that out. It's really, really good. I really enjoyed it listening on my way to work today. I guess I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, I can't really think of, I mean, you know, we'll get to what to watch for later on because there's things coming up. But I don't know. Anything else you heard of, Jeff?
Not really. I gotta go check that out. I didn't get a chance to listen, so I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. I gotta shout out the Wrestling Club on Twitter. I forget the guy's name. I'm terrible with names sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
But they're a group of kids that have gone to check out some wrestling, and they had Big E and Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin and Titus O'Neil come to their classroom.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool. A couple weeks ago. So got to shout that out too. Just so cool to see someone, giving wrestling to young kids. I think sometimes we take for granted the popularity. Yeah, there you go, Conrad. We take for granted sometimes the popularity of wrestling, and is popular with us, but a lot of times, how does that get passed down? So it's really cool to see that there's a new generation of fans coming up. So that's pretty cool.
You know what would be awesome, Jeff, and I know you're so busy, but if you have some time, you should put out a short or a quick little video for Black History Month as well, because you're very well respected. I mean, you actually, and I know you're not on Twitter as much, but you got mentioned for our show. You got shouted out on Twitter for our show.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, which it's just really cool. But you know what, like kind of what it would have meant to you, or what it meant to you personally. I know it was cool to listen to Mark Henry, because Mark was kind of saying how when he saw Kofi Kingston have that promo with Vince McMahon and saying, hey, why can't it be me? Mark Henry said he was taking the words right out of his mouth, and he wanted to say that kind of stuff to Vince McMahon many times. And never did. And he said for him, it was amazing. So I'd love to hear your perspective on it. I know you, like I said, I know you're busy at work and stuff like that, but if you can at some point get like just a small little short out, I know the community would appreciate hearing that from you.
Yeah. I'll try to get something out this week.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. I think a few more people snuck in. Jason Peace, going to Money in the Bank. That's amazing, dude. Enjoy. Live shows are always awesome. Always awesome. Conrad said, I feel the same in the podcasting wrestling community. Yeah, and Conrad got shouted out as well. Yes. So yeah, Conrad does an amazing job with his show and has been involved with doing this for a long time now. So yes, respect to all of you, and being, leading the way with this kind of thing, and it's awesome. So respect to the elders, Big Cat Ernie Ladd and Bobo Brazil, two legends in wrestling, says the Kook. Let's see. Jeff had a friend drive 2.5 hours to get me Krispy Kreme today. Real friend.
That is a real friend.
Dozen of glaze gone within an hour. LOL.
That's a real friend right there. Drive that far for you. And listen, Krispy Kreme, I've always said this, if you can catch it when the hot light is on, man, it's just tremendous. So
totally
if you have a Krispy Kreme near you, go get some donuts for me, because we don't have a Krispy Kreme in the upstate of New York. There's one in the city, but not in the upstate. So yeah, we don't. We have one in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which it's about an hour from me. I'd say 40 minutes or so. But I'll never forget my first experience in one of those. I went to one. We were at a managers meeting with T-Mobile in downtown Philly, one of the biggest stores in the area, and always busy. And right outside their store, across the parking lot, there's a Krispy Kreme. So I'm like, oh my God, we've got to go. So we went in, and when you go to these meetings, they have you up first thing in the morning. So we're there at like 6 a.m. And so we go in. And I order, they have a key lime pie donut as their special of the day, which was, oh my God, was amazing. And then I go up to the counter, right? And normally I don't drink coffee. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I'm like, oh, I'm just dead tired. So I'm going to get a coffee, get some caffeine. So I did. And I'm going up, I'm going up to pay, and they have it like an assembly line. You watch them actually make the donuts, which is really cool. And then I get to the register to pay, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, where is the? Because I ordered a just regular coffee with cream, and I looked around. And I said, where's the sugar? She said, oh no, hun, we don't do that. And I'm like,
what do you mean? And she's like, oh, no, you see that little lever over there? I'm like, yeah, the white one. She's like, that's what you put in there. And I said, what is that? And she said, oh, that's glaze. I'm like, glaze in my coffee? Are you kidding me? So I went over and I went bloop, and sure enough, the glaze comes out. Goes into, that was the best freaking thing I've ever had. The coffee, that was amazing. I have never seen that before. And they use glaze in the coffee. I mean, so bad for you, but so good.
Yes.
Oh my God, it was amazing. But yeah, if you get a chance to get to a Krispy Kreme, do so. And I just visited Duck Donuts, which they were fantastic too. So, oh my God, Jeff recommended the maple bacon. My wife got one. I tried hers. Oh, dude. Like you never would think bacon and sweet, like maple flavor would go to. Oh God,
just works, right?
Yeah. Oh my God,
just works.
And if you go to those, like Jeff said, you have to eat them warm. When you get them out of there, they make them right in front of you, and they're warm when you get them in the box. And oh my God, it's just amazing, just amazing. Now we're getting people hungry. All right, yeah. All right. So that's it for the breaking news. I know, Brandon Davies, this you're making me. Yeah, we're gonna get on with the show. So Jeff, what do we got? What are we starting off with tonight?
We're gonna start with recapping Impact Wrestling's No Surrender from Friday, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really was. Hey, look, anytime I could see a wrestling match with a Dreamcast and a VR dancing moose, it's going to be a fun show. And that was just one of the many matches of the night that were just amazing. You wanted good wrestling, you got Speedball Mike Bailey and Gresham. You've gotten you had Mickey James and Masha Slamovich, who had an amazing match. You had the championship match, of course, with Josh Alexander and Rich Swann. Rich Swann was absolutely amazing. Josh, he took everything, Josh took everything Rich Swann had and snuck out of there with the win. But oh my gosh, so many good matches. And again, that .com match with Moose and that was tremendous. That was tremendous. I had to watch that one back. I didn't even realize when he first opened the Dreamcast lid that he did that. He did that in reference to Moose doing the middle finger. Yeah. And then he popped the lid, and the lid was supposed to be the middle finger. I showed that to someone in work today. They don't even watch Impact, and they're like, oh my God, he opened the lid like the middle finger. I'm like, yes. And I'm like, by the way, you need to watch. Oh God, it was such a good show. Such a good show. This is why I love Impact. They are just killing it, man. They are absolutely killing it. And there is way more to come, this Thursday to see where they're going next. The only thing that I could even complain about, and it's not even a big complaint, was the Bully Ray and Dreamer thing. It should have really been on the pre-show rather than the show itself. It didn't really sit in a good spot there. It was in between, and I get what they're doing with it. It's going to lead to Dreamer versus Tommy, but that's the only complaint I had. Otherwise, I tremendously enjoyed the show. They are killing it. And if you're not watching it, you're missing out on some really great wrestling. And we've got stuff coming up with them. We've got a New Japan versus Impact Wrestling show that's going to be tremendous matches with that. We might have something with Mickey and Mercedes Monet. That stuff is going around. I don't know. But Jeff, Impact, man, is on fire.
And this what I'm about to say is no disrespect, and it doesn't mean to create any kind of arguments or anything, but to me, Impact Wrestling is the most consistent show week to week in terms of entertainment storylines that's out there right now. And again, check it out if you can. Jeremy, it's on if you do a membership on their YouTube page, it's $4.99, and you can get their smaller pay-per-views like No Surrender and some of the others like Emergence, different ones. You can get those throughout the year as well, but it's well worth it. It has their weekly show on there too. If you don't want to do that, it's Access TV. If you have access through your cable provider. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely to me, I love what Impact does. It was tremendous. You and Bonus Baby just said this, had no surprises, no debuts, and you don't need it when it's done well. You don't need a bunch of hoopla. You don't need a bunch of surprises and kind of gadgets to get people or gimmicks when it's done well. So I think they're just absolutely just doing great stuff. They have for a while, and I feel like Impact Wrestling is the hidden gem of wrestling. Everybody's talking about everything else, but not enough people are talking about Impact. So yeah, give it a try. Even if you are one of the folks that watched back in the day and you're like, you know what, I'm done with TNA, Impact, whatever. Things are different. Scott D'Amore, I don't think gets enough credit for what he does. In terms of booking and putting things together. So yeah, I really, really think Impact Wrestling. I want to see them really, and I know Conrad says this a lot, I want to see them really capture that momentum this year and kind of catapult into the next stratosphere this year in terms of getting in front of new people.
Yep, agreed. There's that. Cameras. This, I'm telling you, man, I love this dude. I told Jeff I got the t-shirt. I got the JH t-shirt, and I will be wearing it for Impact every week. Every Thursday, I will have the JH t-shirt on for Joe Hendry, my new favorite wrestler in Impact. He vaulted up my top 5. He's now my new favorite men's wrestler in Impact Wrestling, hands down. So it is so good. Again, guys, if you're not watching it, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're a wrestling fan, because the content is fantastic. I know sometimes people, like Jeff said, are a little leery if they watched it in the past. It's nowhere near what it used to be. And also people are sometimes leery to start something new. But listen, if you're looking for something to do on a Thursday night, you don't really have anything else to watch, and you're a wrestling fan, come out. Like Jeff said, you can pay the 99 cents and just get the weekly show if you don't want to do the $4.99. And it's well worth it. And come out and watch with us, and check it out. The community is great. Everybody loves the show, and it's really, really good stuff. So yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't watch. That's all I'm going to say. It's been tremendous. Speedball versus Gresham and Giselle versus Deanna should have switched places with the police segment. Yeah, that was the complaint I had. And that was not that big of a deal. It was a long extended promo, that's all. John Kessler says week in and week out, it's been unbelievable. Impact, no surrender, no surprises, no debuts. That was Bonus Baby's comment that Jeff was talking about. Ryan Martins, hello, Ryan, says Impact is fantastic. Bully Ray is the best heel in wrestling. Thought no surrender was Impact's worst YouTube special. Okay, all right, that's cool. You're entitled to your opinion, dude. I thought it was great. Big Dan says they need a richer TV deal. That's the only thing holding them back, in my opinion. And Jeff talking to that point. Forbidden Door in wrestling. Wait until you see Hendry at AAA Lucha Libre World Cup next month. Is that the one we were thinking of doing?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do a watch along for that, Coog. So yeah, that's very interesting. So Jeff mentioned it. It falls on a Sunday, which would be great because that's kind of, instead of doing this, we could do a watch along for that. So I'm pretty sure we're probably going to do that. So keep that in mind. But yeah. It was a great show. No Surrender was fantastic. Ready to see what they've got coming up next, and excited for what Impact is bringing, man. What's next, Jeff?
All right, up next we had the return of the Firefly Funhouse, and this was a different one. We got some people coming into the chat saying, "I'm so confused by this one," but I loved it. I watched it maybe 4 or 5 times just to see if I could pick up on different little things, but I thought it was really good.
It's a very thought-provoking one. You really had to have paid attention because the theme of it was all about, can you keep a secret? But there were lots of little callbacks to many things. We'll go over this obviously more and break this down more tomorrow on Monday on Abby's. But the very beginning with the door and then the red light, of course, we know what that is. The box that Alexa Bliss used as the doorstop and was also on the table that she used to bring the Fiend back. Just so many of these little callbacks. Bray's shirt. The shirt that he wore was the quote he made about the beast with, what was it? The beast with 10 heads and 7 horns. Is that how they word it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's from Revelation, the book of Revelation in the Bible. But that's also something he used with Brock Lesnar. He used that in a promo with Brock Lesnar back in the day. So lots and lots of callbacks. And then he's sitting there and he's watching the thing with where he challenged them or whoever won, and then he showed Bobby's promo. So there's so much stuff in there. The front door of the funhouse being opened, and then of course him saying who opened the door, and then you see all those images in the door, and some people, and you heard a woman screaming in the background when that door was open. Oh my gosh, just so much stuff there to pick apart. It was see, this is the kind of stuff, Jeff, that I like with him, because this stuff is brilliant. You're not getting, he's not coming out and saying what this is. He's coming out and just giving you all these, it's almost like White Rabbit. You're getting all of these little clues, and then you're left to draw your own conclusion as to what is coming next with this.
And I love that. I love that about it. I think that this is very thought-provoking. It leads people, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit in my grievance, but it leads people to kind of go to their own devices and fantasy book things and kind of create some things, which is cool when you know how to handle that responsibility as a wrestling fan. And I'll just kind of leave it there for right now.
Yeah, like Alexa Bliss Gamer saying the female hands playing with the action figures. Yes, there were, again, the female scream was definitely not Alexa. That was not her voice. And then, like I said, the thing with Eric Young blew my mind. I had to go back. I saw that in an article the next day. I watched it very late on Friday night after our show, and I didn't really get that. But then when I saw the articles, people mentioning that, I had to go back and listen. I'm like, damn, that is his voice. And so now people are saying, is it going to be Sanity? Is he going to work with Sanity somehow? And was the woman screaming Nikki Cross? So now it's just everything is out there now. And is the Fiend coming back? I guess is the main question people are going to ask from this, because of all the clues that you got there. And then, of course, now the other thing too, the very end of the video, the person in that black mask, or that blackish looking mask, and it could be the light, we don't really know. It could be the green mask. It just looks black. But who was that? Was that Bray? He had different hair. So I don't know if that was Bray. That could have been the person that opened the door. Again, it's all crazy. And we'll talk way more about this on Abby's. We'll break this down for you a lot more. We'll get everybody else's opinion. Jeff's got a theory about it, which I will read out tomorrow on the show. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. But that was an insane funhouse, man. Just absolutely.
It was.
Let's see what people are saying. Love the Bray stuff lately, says Brandon. Let's see. How do you feel about the rumors that Triple H wants a smaller WrestleMania? I did not hear that. In fact, I heard exactly the opposite. When we had the last pay-per-view, Triple H was talking about how big that show is going to be. So I have not heard that at all. The picture on Bray's shirt is about, Goliath. Yep, it is. Yep. I did post that, and I posted the section of Revelation that was from. The female hands were without a doubt Alexa's. James Grant says, I don't know. She just showed her nails today on her Twitter page. I don't know, that the nails didn't look the same to me, but who knows? Well, who knows when it was filmed? So who knows? Dan saying maybe Nikki Cross. He wouldn't be opposed to that. I've said that before. I would love Nikki to join him. Absolutely would love it. I think that'd be tremendous. Could Sanity be in a version of Wyatt 6? Maybe, Mark. That's what I love about this. We just don't know. We just don't know. We got no answers from that. We got more questions and no answers. And like Jeff said, that's why we love it. So, All right, man. What's next, Jeff?
All right, up next, Ring of Honor is back. It's going to be streaming on Honor Club, so that's coming up, I think, this week.
Is it this week already? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think it is this week.
It's going to be on Thursdays, and Conrad's kind of the guy I go to with AEW stuff. You can correct me if I'm wrong if you're out there, but as far as I know, this is on the app. It's $9.99. And I haven't heard though anything about how long the show is going to be. Yes, see wrestling is. I want me to blow your mind with a theory nobody mentioned yet. Of course, sure. You're here. Blow our minds. See, go right ahead. But yes, those of you who are fans of Ring of Honor, pretty happy about this. ROH is at 7 p.m. Okay. Did they say how long it was? Was it an hour long? I didn't get a whole lot of details about it, so I'm not sure what it is. James Chadwick saying yes this Thursday at 7 o'clock. Not sure if it's an hour or 2 hours, to John Kessler. But listen, this is cool. Ring of Honor, I was just kind of starting to watch. It was a show I couldn't really watch because it was on so late and a weird time on our cable channel. This is great for the people that love Ring of Honor. I'm sure they'll do well with it. And Conrad just said, so you can watch Impact ROH is 1 hour. Okay, so 7 to 8. Well, that's cool. I'm glad it doesn't interfere with Impact. That's cool. C says, the Funhouse is Bray's safe place. He said not everything is okay here. Uncle Howdy was in Bray's safe place. He's taken over. Uncle Howdy was on the weather map part of it saying, I am all of us. If I'm not mistaken, that was what he said. People assuming that meant he is everything in there now, the puppets and I don't know. That's interesting though. That he was in. Yeah, he was technically in the Funhouse. So interesting theory. Yeah, that's very cool. That
is.
Bray got the worst game. Yeah, I don't care. Ryan,
from them. Yeah, I mean,
I really couldn't care less. Yeah, I saw that earlier. I couldn't care less. Conrad says not 100% on the hour, but that's what rumors are saying. Okay. Everybody's saying interesting thoughts. See, we don't mention wrestling. We don't mention that name here. Good theory. See, yeah, that was cool. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it was interesting that he was in there. So there you go. See, wrestling graces us with one of his early theories. That's amazing. I like it, man. I think that's very good, very cool thing. Jeff, what do you think about ROH coming back, dude?
I'm excited. I actually want to watch it. I'm glad. Hopefully the rumors are true that it won't interfere with Impact. Hopefully that's the case. I want to see because I love Ring of Honor and I think they have an opportunity to have some great matchups to really revitalize everything and get more folks interested. So I'm really excited to see what they do going forward, and I will be one of the people that gets this on Honor Club and watching it every week. So
yeah, it's always good. Listen, more wrestling for wrestling fans. How can you argue? Oh, and if you're still out there, you should pop in Abby's tomorrow and mention that as well, because I know we get a ton of Bray Wyatt fans that just come out to that show. So if you're around, and I know you're busy because you're getting ready for Raw and stuff like that, but pop in and mention that, because I would love to hear everybody in there's opinion on that. I'm sure you probably may have even shared it with Jody, but just for those of the others that like Dom and maybe if Nicole's going to be there, I'd love to get their opinions on that as well. So pop in tomorrow if you get a chance. Let's see, because that idiot Meltzer He's talking about Meltzer. Hey. Yeah, listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. People, look, guys, people are going to like what they like. They're going to hate what they hate. They have their own reasons for it. So he said, if I'm not asleep. Yeah, look, is that stuff for everybody? No, it's not.
And that's fine.
Right. It's okay. It's we enjoy it. We get it. You know, and that's cool. It's not for everyone. Some people don't like to figure things out. They don't want their wrestling to be hard. They just want to watch people fight each other in a ring. They don't want to have to figure things out, and that's okay. It's different for everyone. And personally, I you know, being a fan of certain genres and, you know, certain horror genre, of course, mysteries, figuring out things on video games, I always dug that kind of stuff. So I like that stuff, and Jeff does too. So it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's cool. Everybody has different things. I loved watching Different Strokes. Different strokes today, different strokes to rule the world. Yes, it does.
Love that show.
I did too. Did you see when they did the remake, the one on TV?
I did, yeah.
Oh my God. I was dying laughing, dying. And when they have older people play those parts, and then Snoop Dogg walks in as the friend, I'm like, oh my God. Kevin Hart playing Arnold. Oh, dear Lord, was that funny. Yeah, I love when they do that now. They do remakes of these old shows and they use new actors and stuff on them. Oh my God, they're so funny. So good. So good. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Ring of Honor is back. I know a lot of people are going to love it. Jeff said he's going to check it out. It's different. It's new wrestling. It will not interfere with Impact. So hey, if you don't have anything to do with that 7 to 8 hour, check it out and see what it's like. And you know, it's just more wrestling for everybody that's a wrestling fan. So there you go. All right, man. What do we have next?
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about Mercedes Monet winning the IWGP Women's title last weekend, or a couple weekends, however long it's been at this point.
Yeah, it's been yeah, it's not exactly new news anymore. But I'll tell you, I'm just gonna say this one thing about Mercedes. And again, it's so weird to me because she was so beloved in WWE, and now it's all of a sudden like she's a polarizing figure. Like some people are hating on her, and I'm like, all I'll say is this: she took a chance on herself. It's not very often that you see an athlete, a wrestler, when they're at the top of their game, right? And say what you will about her, like her or not. In WWE, she was at the top of her game. She main evented some huge, huge matches in huge venues and in huge shows, WrestleManias. She was at the top of the mountain, and she took a chance on herself. Instead of sticking around, you know, she's like, no, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to conquer some other things. And I can't help but be, you know, awed by anyone that does that. It's similar to kind of what we're seeing with Cody. Cody was good where he was and did very well with AEW and went out there and did all that. And then, you know, where he could have just stayed where he was at the top of his game there. He took a chance. And I think it's the same thing with her. She is now stepping out away from her safe zone, and she's doing new things. She's going out there and getting her name out there as a world-renowned wrestler, not just WWE, but now world-renowned. And she wins the title, which I'm not surprised at all by that. And now she can go out and kind of do what she wants. That's why the rumors are there that she could wrestle Mickey. She could. They have combined pay-per-views. So they've had people from New Japan in Impact. They've had people from New Japan in AEW. So a lot of people are thinking she could show up there at some point. She can. What this is going to do in terms of her is it's building her brand. And what it's going to do when she's done with this, she's going to demand her cost. And what power that is when you can walk into a place, and let's say she does want to go back to WWE, right? She can go in there and demand her price. Yep. It's
Show
all
me the money.
That's most Mercedes money, Monet, however you want to pronounce it. She can go in there and say, "You want me back? Here's my terms." And this
pay up.
And this is what I want. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And you know what? Go for it. I love it. I think she's a tremendous athlete. I think she's awesome. And of course she won the title. I'm not at all shocked by that. But and we may see her back someday in WWE. Maybe we won't. But either way, she's doing what she loves. Also, the other thing is, Jeff, she's acting and stuff now. She's in The Mandalorian season 3 that's coming up. She probably doesn't even need to wrestle as far as the money goes. She's doing it. She loves doing it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I will liken this to another athlete who takes a ton of criticism, and just bear with me on this. You remember when LeBron James did the decision?
Yep, with Miami.
With Miami, and everybody just hated him. I mean, they still hate on him, but it is what it is. You got to respect greatness. And I think it's the same thing with her. Say what you want about her. Say what you want about the circumstances of her leaving WWE, but she bet on herself.
Yep.
And all too often, people don't take chances on themselves, and they never realize what could happen outside of their current situation. And I know that people love WWE. I'm one of those people. Mm-hmm. I love all wrestling. I hate that I have to qualify that every time I'm critical of something, but that's the world in which we live these days. Because you can't have an opinion about something and criticize without people, just trying to be nasty towards you. But I think with her, she bet on herself. WWE for many people may be the dream and may be the end all be all, but it's not that way for every wrestler anymore, nor does it need to be. Just my opinion. But I think she bet on herself, and she's doing quite well. And like Joe mentioned, she's got other things that she's doing. She's into acting now. She's doing some different things. So, I mean, it's not like she necessarily needs the check from wrestling. I'm pretty sure those Disney Plus checks are pretty nice.
I would.
So I think she's okay from that regard. It's about her doing something that she wants to do, where she wants to do it on her terms. And I think as a fan, it'd be ridiculous of me to criticize a person for doing something that she wants to do for her career and her life. As James Chadwick said here, as long as she's happy, then who cares where she goes? Fandom goes too far at times. I am there. Honestly, whatever she does to make her life happy and do what she wants to do, I mean, I don't have a say in that. I only have a say in my own life. So,
yep.
So yeah, I'm happy for her. Glad that she had the opportunity to do what she's doing and to take a chance on herself. And you know what? For the people that come along after the fact and say, "Hey, Mercedes, come join our promotion," that's great. But guess what? You got to pony up now. You got to show me the money. You got to show some money at this point, which good for her. Make that money.
Yeah.
Because especially with wrestling, and I think people take this for granted too, because we've seen some long runs from wrestlers. Wrestling is not an extremely long career path or journey. 10 to 15 years. I mean, think about that. Doing something that you really love, doing it for 10 to 15 years. That's your window of opportunity in the business a lot of times. So capitalize as much as you can on that. And, with the branding and marketing and everything that's going to come with what she's doing, she's setting herself up quite nicely for whatever next step it is in her career, whether that is going directly to just doing entertainment in terms of movies and TV, or whether she wants to continue to wrestle. She's setting herself up quite nicely for whatever's next for her.
No doubt. No doubt. Well said. I know I'm going back to this, but let's say she does come back to WWE. Do you think with the stipulation that they have the women's tag belts a more prestigious, prominent fixture in the company? Yeah, that was a reason why she left, Mark. I don't know that that'll still be the case if she decides to come back at some point. I don't know that she'll want to dictate that necessarily. It depends. It depends really what she's going to want to come back for. But we'll see. You know, she may never. We don't know that. What we know is right now and what she's doing right now. And again, like Jeff said, what she's doing right now is she's doing what she wants to do. And you know, all too many times in your life, a lot of people, we would all love to be at that point where we could just do things that we want to do and get paid for it. It's a wonderful thing if you have that in your life. People that enjoy their work is their fun at the same time. And that's something that people strive to do. And she's doing it. So good for her, man. Awesome. Good for her. Oh, she is Snoop's cousin. Yes, she is, Jeremy. Yes, she is. All right, Jeff, what do we got next?
All right. So we went over the schedule a little bit earlier. We were going to do that here, but now we can go into the segment, right? Into into that one.
Is it that time already?
It's that time. So yeah, let's do it.
Here we go.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're gonna hear about.
God, I love that. I love this. It is time for the airing of grievances. And while you may hear this term or have heard this term on someone else's show, just know that we were using it first. And not to say that, of course, this is in any way our idea. This was aired on Seinfeld a long, long time ago. But in wrestling anyway, yes, this was also our thing. It's so funny how some people borrow stuff. I don't know. It's you know, we're such a small channel and stuff like that, but you know, we do come up with good ideas sometime, and you know, it gets used up. Maybe I should make that my grievance. Right. Anyway, it's grievance time. It's everybody's favorite part of our show, the airing of grievances. Jeff's got one he's been sitting on for a couple weeks now, so I am going to give the floor to Jeff. So Jeff, take it away, dude.
All right. So I fully anticipate pissing some people off, and I'm okay with that because my mother and my grandfather used to say it's better to be pissed off than pissed on. Yeah, I'm gonna let you all know that ahead of time. I talked a little bit earlier about fantasy booking, and fantasy booking is a lot of fun when you can handle that responsibility as a fan. What I mean by that is when things don't go the exact way you fantasy booked it, it doesn't mean that something sucks. It just means that the company is doing what they want to do for their promotion. I think a lot of times us as fans, we get in these environments where we fantasy book everything, and as soon as we don't get it our way, it's wrong or it's terrible or it's this or it's that. And no, it doesn't mean that at all. I think sometimes entertainment fans, and I'm going to expand this, not just for wrestling, but I think entertainment fans treat entertainment like it's a fast food restaurant, or like you're going to sit down at a meal and you get to order something off of a menu and you get it customized to exactly the way that you want it. It doesn't happen that way. Unless you're writing checks, unless you're the one with the pen or pencil, you don't get to make those decisions. I'm sorry to break that to you, but you don't get to make that decision. You don't have Triple H's ear. You don't have Tony Khan's ear. You don't have Scott D'Amore's ear. just realize that you are a fan. I am a fan. I love fantasy booking, but I also understand that it doesn't have to go my way for me to still enjoy something. There are, honestly, thinking about Impact Wrestling with Steve Macklin. I think Steve Macklin is the next person to be the face of Impact Wrestling. I would have preferred it if they had done this, I don't know, 8-9 months ago, but I'm not at Burger King ordering. I can't have it my way all the time. So Scott D'Amore is going to do what he wants to do that makes the most sense for the storylines that Impact Wrestling has going on. And I hate doing this. I hate referring to myself in the third person, but Scott D'Amore doesn't give a crap about what Jeff Watson wants or fantasy booked on a podcast or on a live stream or a watch along. That stuff doesn't matter. It matters about what makes the most sense for the show. So I think sometimes as wrestling fans, we get too caught up in fantasy booking and trying to get things exactly our way. You can't make everyone happy. It's just not going to happen. I mean, my God, look at Twitter after a Raw or Dynamite or whatever. Look at Twitter after that. You get a bunch of people on there. Oh, this isn't right. That's not right. This person should have won. That person should have won. You know what? Yeah. I have my favorites too, but I understand that a part of the journey is them losing sometimes. But that's what makes this fun. We go on the journey with the characters that we love. So I just think that sometimes when it comes to us wrestling fans, we need to, and entertainment fans in general, we need to be respectful of people's work. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's trash. These people put a lot of hard work and effort into what they do to entertain us. And if you're going to sit there and be a spoiled brat, then maybe you don't deserve the privilege of enjoying good entertainment, because it's not about you always. There are other people that have to be entertained as well. So I'll get off my soapbox now.
I love this because I had, to me, and this was even before we started this show, probably long before we started this show, I'm a big part, and I love, along with wrestling, my second, right up there with wrestling for me is geek culture. I've grown up with comic books, with superheroes, with Star Wars, with science fiction, with all of that stuff, and I love it all. But that said, everyone, I think I'll take this back to when the most recent Star Wars sequels came out. When it first came out, everybody was excited. All the Star Wars fans were excited. They were up in arms, like, we're getting another movie. Oh my God, this is going to be amazing. It's a sequel, actually. So it's not, one of the prequels. And of course, everybody bashed the prequels because they hated those. How could you do this? This is garbage. It's kids stuff, blah, 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 blah. And when Lucas came out and said, yeah, guess what? It was for kids. It was for kids like it was for me when I was 8 years old. That's what he aimed for. So that's kind of what it was. But when they announced the sequels were coming out, I'll never forget that day when they announced Force Awakens, because I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And they were continuing the story of having the original characters in it. So, here's Mark Hamill, here's Carrie Fisher, here's Harrison Ford. The gang was back. And of course, everybody ate it up. And when Force Awakens came out, for the most part, Star Wars fans loved it. Now, you had those morons out there that were like, oh my God, it's just a remake of the original. Oh my God, why are these old actors back? They're so old, blah, 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 blah. I thought it was fantastically done. I don't care if it was a remake and it had similarities. I couldn't care less, because I was watching my favorite people from the movie from 1977 when I was 8 years old back on a big screen. I didn't care, right? And then the second one came out. Different. And now, like Jeff said, you had J.J. Abrams did the first one, okay? The second one was done by Rian Johnson. Now, Rian Johnson was not a very well-known director. He had a couple films under his belt, but nothing really huge. And sometimes you got to take into consideration, and that movie, polarized Star Wars fans. Polarized. You had some people who enjoyed it, some people who couldn't stand it, some people who wanted Rian Johnson lynched, like literally wanted the man dead. And I'm not kidding you. On Twitter, sending him death threats, like because of a movie, right? And this is going back to what Jeff said. We can't. The Rolling Stones once said, "You can't always get what you want." We can't. That's just how it is. This was a man's vision, okay, who was hired by a CEO of Disney Films, Kathy Kennedy, to do this sequel. Was it what everybody wanted? Maybe not, but you know what? It was his vision. It was what he thought Star Wars was and what he thought it should be. Now, you can go in and maybe not like it. Okay, great. But here's the thing. If you don't like it, I'm sure if I come out of a movie, and maybe this is just me, and maybe maybe this is silly, but if I go into a movie and I watch it and I'm not thrilled by it, I won't ever watch it again. I mean, I gave it a chance. I watched it. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't for me. But I'll never sit and watch it again. I'll never sit. And the other thing is I'm not going to go on Twitter or Twitch or Facebook or wherever and bash it because it's my opinion. I didn't enjoy it. Okay. If someone asks me, did you like it? I'll turn around and say, well, it wasn't really for me. But I'm not going to get pissed off, and I'm not going to start throwing my fist up in the air saying, oh, my God, this sucks. You ruined Star Wars for me, you SOB. I want you dead. Like, what is wrong with people who do stuff like that? Like, what is wrong with people? Like, I don't get it. Where does this mentality?
They didn't get told no enough as a child.
Oh,
that's what it was.
God, apparently not. Like, this is what the social media stuff, man, just blows my mind because I get it. It gives people a voice, but boy, oh boy, use the voice for other things other than bitching and moaning about every single thing.
Some of y'all, like Ryan Clark says, some of y'all mother flippers need to learn how to remain silent.
Goodness gracious. Like, just, if you don't like it, cool. We're not going to like everything. Not everybody's going to like everything everyone does because we're all different. We're all different people. I mean, I'm not going to sit down and watch the Notebook. I don't like films like that. That's not for me. And I could kind of pick and choose what I like and what I think I'm going to like. And then there's some things that I think are in the genre or subgenres that I enjoy that I'll watch. And maybe it's not so great, but just let it go. Move on. There's so much more you can watch, so much more out there you can see. Move on if you don't like it. And here's another real quick thing to this. And I hate to be blunt. But I'm going to be.
Be blunt.
I'm going to be blunt because I'm old and I can. Do you want to know how many people care what you say on Twitter? No one. No one. No one. Now, I'm exaggerating. People have friends, right? People have people that follow them on Twitter, people and stuff like that. And your friends, the people who are your true friends will certainly care. But for those people who think that they're going to go and yell off the top of a mountain and think they are all of a sudden on a pedestal where everybody out there, the millions and millions of people on Twitter are listening to them and thinking, oh my God, look what he just said. He is so right. Man, you got another thing coming because no one cares. They don't. And so yell and scream all you want. Hope it makes you feel better. But I can almost guarantee for a lot of these people, it doesn't. And that's why they continue to do it over and over and over again. We get it every single day, guys. We get it every single day. When I put up stuff on our Twitter, I am now so used to getting like troll comments. I'll put this stuff out on, I'll put the posts up on Bray Wyatt, the pictures that I put up and things like that. And sure enough, I'll get one comment in there saying, "Man, this stuff sucks." Like, why even waste your time? Why waste your time? Other than, are you lonely? Are you sad that you need someone to agree with you? Are you, I don't know, man. It's just so ridiculous. It's just, when they discover the center of the universe, a lot of people will be disappointed they're not. It's
one of my favorite quotes ever.
Yes. Yes. Man, oh man. It's such a waste of energy. It really is. And like Jeff said, I mean, for me, it was that stuff with Star Wars and with movies. And, I used to get so annoyed with it. And then I thought to myself, you know what? It's just sad. It's just sad that people have to act that way and be that way. And their lives have to just be so devoid of any happiness whatsoever that they just have to do this stuff every single day and be killjoys on Twitter. I feel bad for them. I really do. But, all I'll say is we can't all like the same things. And like Jeff put it so eloquently earlier, the thing is, just if you don't like something, cool. If you like something, great. If you don't, unless somebody specifically asks you want to have a discussion with a friend or something like that, man, just keep it to yourself. There's no reason to spread it. There's no reason to do that. And that's what I say about all the so-called, news sites or dirt sheets, whatever you want to call them, that are out there that are just doing this stuff on purpose to get clicks. That's even sicker, to be honest, because they're just trying to do it to get money. And, but in any case, that could be a whole nother segment. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't get it. This is entertainment. Plain and simple.
Have fun with it, and if you can't, my thing, one of my biggest gripes right now, and I hate to even broach this subject because of the conversations or arguments that it starts, but the whole thing of, well, AEW is better, WWE sucks, and WWE is better, and AEW sucks. I can't stand that garbage. Like it just. Oh my God, it kills me. And I hate even seeing it. And it happens on both sides. And it's equally disgusting from both sides. I've seen some people that call themselves massive WWE fans be absolutely disgusting and nasty. And I've seen it the opposite way. And there's really no need for it because, at the end of the day, enjoy what you enjoy. Right. If AEW is what is the brand of wrestling that you enjoy, if what they do vibes with what you want as a wrestling fan, great. Yep. If WWE irks your nerves, that's cool too. But you know what? The last thing that I'm going to do as a fan or not a fan of something is I'm not going to give it additional attention. The fact that some people go out of their way to bash one or the other just shows that you're paying more attention to it than what you want to let on. So are you hate watching it, or are you secretly a fan, but you just don't want to admit it? I mean, let's just be real about it. Are you really that mad about it, or are you secretly a fan? So sometimes your fandom shows in weird ways, and when you trash something over and over and over again, is that your secret way of saying that you love it? Maybe. I don't know.
Or, Jeff, and here's another question like that. Were you a fan and then they did something you didn't like and that brought you away from there, and so you grabbed on to something else? So something didn't go your way. You didn't like what you saw. Now you go to another thing, but the fact of the matter is, you're still holding on to being a fan of that other place so much so that you pretty much bash it, but yet you want nothing better than to be back there, but you just can't because your ego is telling you, I can't do that, because that's admitting defeat. That's sad, really.
Yeah. I'll even share this. Like I have not been the biggest. I'm not gonna sit here and say I watch every AEW show. I don't watch AEW Dark. I don't watch all of that stuff, but I do check it out from time to time. And I'll say this: there's been a lot of stuff that I don't like that's been done in AEW. There's been a crap ton of stuff that's happened in WWE that I cannot stand, that I despise. One thing I try not to do, though, is I try not to crap on other people's professions, and I try not to crap on other people. I think there's constructive criticism, and then there's crapping on something that sometimes other people might enjoy. And we never know where that's going to land with people. And, I don't want to keep harping on this, but it's just one of those things where it's like, let's have fun with what we're supposed to have fun with and be entertained. Although I am going to throw out a definitive right now, and I don't normally do this kind of stuff, but let's just, we're going to talk about, I want to talk about a horror movie real quick. Dave Bautista is the best wrestler turned actor that's ever happened. Don't argue with me, argue with somebody else about it. Because if you haven't seen Knock at the Cabin, what he does in Knock at the Cabin is tremendous. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I don't really throw out definitives like that very often, but I'm just gonna say the man is a brilliant actor. So
that's really saying something too, considering you have The Rock out there. You have
I know.
a lot of yeah.
I know. It's saying a lot, but
I have to see that.
He is tremendous. He's tremendous.
I have to see that. I'm familiar with the short story that was taken from.
Yeah.
And the fact that M. Night Shyamalan's doing it, his stuff is always interesting to watch, with his twist endings and things like that. So yeah, I have to make a point to see that. So
yeah, it's great.
There you go, guys. Well, that was our airing of grievances for this week. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you gave you something to think about, something to consider in all walks of life, really, with the entertainment things. And no matter what it is you like, just like Jeff said, it's very simple. You don't have to make it hard. Just enjoy what you like, and if you don't, then move on. Find something else. Don't waste your time shouting off of a mountain. Find something else that you'll like better. I guarantee you're going to be a happier person for it. I guarantee. So, all right. That is airing of grievances.
Bonus baby. The Miz, Jeff. Ever heard of The Miz, the Marine? Man?
Come on.
Oh, I've heard of it. I've seen more of those movies than I want to admit. Because again, hoping and wishing that the next one would be better than the last. But I will say respectfully, Dave Bautista, just what I saw in Knock at the Cabin from him, it just I had to say, I had to share it somewhere. And I do have a horror movie podcast where we're going to talk about Knock at the Cabin. Cheap plug here, but yeah, I'm going to say that there too. But I just, since it's a wrestling show, I felt the need to shout Batista out. Not that it matters what I say about any of that. But yeah, that movie was really, really good. It went a different direction than the book, and I won't give that away. But it was very well done.
Hey Jesse, what's up? M. Night Shyamalan. Yes, always had interesting concepts and ideas. It's not his earlier films. Signs is brilliant. That scene where you first see that alien was a shocker. Like when you're Unbreakable with Bruce Willis.
Oh man, Glass.
Brilliant. Glass, that whole thing. We always talk about Split with Bray Wyatt. That's another one of his films. What else did he do? Of course. Oh my gosh. What's the name of the movie? I See Dead People. The one with the kid.
I'm trying to think. Gosh, what is it? It's gonna drive me crazy.
I can't remember the name of it. Unbreakable was a cool movie. Yes. What? Oh my God! Somebody let us know. Somebody in the chat needs to know. What was that movie? With the kid, with the I See Dead People with Bruce Willis and stuff like that. I mean, and it's not a spoiler if you haven't seen it already. Bruce Willis was dead, and I guessed that almost halfway through that movie, and I was so proud of myself.
Sixth Sense. There you go. Erase your mind. Thank you. What a really great movie. I really enjoyed that.
So good.
And I'll say this, Joe. You gave the courtesy of giving a spoiler alert. If in 2023 you're expecting a spoiler-free review of The Sixth Sense, we have to have a serious conversation, because you've had, unless you're like very, very new to his work, I can understand that, but you've had some time to catch that otherwise. So
The Village, yes. The Village was decent. I didn't mind what was that other one too, but the apocalypse or the plants were basically killing everybody. That like the people were like jumping off of buildings. People were just going crazy. They were killing themselves. That's another one that he did. The Elevator, I think he did.
Devil.
The Devil, the one with the where they were in the elevator. The creepy one he did with the grandparents, where the kids go visit.
Hereditary.
The visit. It's called.
Okay.
The Visit.
The Visit. Yeah, he didn't do Hereditary, but the Visit. Yeah,
the Visit was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
So he's done some good stuff. He's had a few misses, of course, but he's done some good. The Happening. Yes, thank you. That's the one with the people that were killing themselves because he's done some good stuff, man. And
and that's the thing too. Kind of going back to our grievance, people are allowed to have some off times. Like, I mean, not everything's going to be firing at 100% all the time.
Yep.
I mean, some directors, actors, they're going to have off times. They're not going to always nail the mark. So, he's had some clunkers, I would say. But yeah, I mean, that we have clunkers too. Thank God that people don't follow us around with a camera and stuff day to day to see some of the things we screw up,
right?
Because we might have somebody posting, fire Joe or fire Jeff on Twitter. How could you mess up that graphic for the social media stuff that you're doing for work today?
Joe, how could you forget about that particular thing with that? Yeah, I know. It's and I do all the time. And I don't care because it's who I am. But yeah, not everybody's going to be perfect. But listen, if you're a director of a film or movies and you're 75%, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Even the best directors out there, Lucas didn't get everything right. Lucas had Scorsese, Spielberg had some bad films. James Cameron had some.
Quentin Tarantino. Yeah, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, they've all had some bad ones. I mean, it happens, right? It happens. So, Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Bear.
Jesse, go check out the trailer for it.
That is actually, oddly enough, that's a true story.
Based on a true story. Yeah.
Of course, they embellished it. Not, of course, that the bear eats the cocaine and goes wild and starts killing people. That didn't happen. But the cocaine did fall off a plane. A bear did eat it, but the bear died. Obviously, he did. But they made a film out of this. What happened? It just made it into like a horror film where the bear attacks people. So, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Theme.
I will say this too. Contrary to popular belief, Michael Jordan did miss some shots.
Right?
He did lose some games. Just saying, being that I brought up LeBron a little bit earlier.
Yes.
I'm not even going to get into the whole who's the GOAT thing, because that's just a ridiculous argument too. Where I won't talk about that because I don't want to upset any more people than I've already upset. So.
See, Jesse's talking about Star Wars Episode 1. Jesse, I'm going to tell you. When I first went to see that film, when it first came out, I was excited as anyone could be because I saw the first one in 1977. And when I went to see it, and when it was over, yes, I was a little bit. I was disappointed. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. But you know what? After all these years now, I go back and watch it. I don't mind it as much at all. And when I sit down and think about the fact that he came out and said that he made that for a new generation of children to watch it, you totally get it. I mean, why would you have a character like Jar Jar Binks unless you were making a movie for kids? It's apparent. And so it wasn't meant for, and I say this to people sometimes too about other stuff, right? Like the people they talk about the comic book films and things like that. They're not all meant for adults. They're meant for kids. And just sometimes the adults are going to say, why didn't they do this? Well, it's not meant for you. So yeah. Anyway, all right. So that's that. That's the end of that segment. We're going to move on to our next segment, Jeff. I believe it's debate time, right?
It is. It is debate time, and Conrad and I are having a little bit of the GOAT conversation. Not saying that Dr. J is the GOAT, but he's my favorite of all time. I'm just going to throw that out there.
See, we all have different people. I have Larry Bird.
Yep, all got different people.
Larry Bird was it for me, and that's the reason I started watching basketball in 1979. So, yep, everybody's going to have someone different.
Yep. All right, man. Let's ring the bell.
All right, let's ring that bell. Ding, ding.
Speaking of ding ding with Rocky, I got to see Creed 3. By the way,
yeah, that looks really good. Yeah,
it does look good. Yeah. It does look good.
Yeah, it does. And Jonathan Majors.
Oh my gosh, dude is tremendous.
He was fantastic as Kang. If you guys did not see Ant-Man, it was the best of the three, and he is going to be a major problem for the Avengers in the next series. And that's a big statement because I really didn't see how they could beat Thanos. Thanos was tremendous as a villain, but man, Kang is going to be awesome. So it was really good. If you haven't seen it, if you're a Marvel fan, go see it. It was really, really good. All right, topic number 1, Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn was an instant classic. Sell or no sell? Jeff, what do you got?
Man, I love that. It was honestly this whole program, everything that they've done with the whole bloodline storyline has been tremendous. I know people when Sami first got involved with the storyline, people were like, why is this happening? And honestly, Sami was the exact thing that the storyline needed, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to sell this. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was great storytelling throughout the match, with Roman going to ringside, talking junk to people who were there for Sami, and everything that Roman does now. I mean, dude is on another level with what he's doing with his character work. So this was a tremendous match. This story's not over just yet. It's not over just yet. It's fractured, but it's not over just yet. So just let's see how this thing plays out. But yeah, I thought this was a instant classic. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it as well. Watching this play out. And listen, this is kind of why we brought up the what your favorite match thing is for tonight's show, because this is by no means going to be anybody's Meltzer 5-star match, because they didn't really wrestle. If you go back and watch this and how much actual wrestling was done in this match, there wasn't a lot.
Especially the first few minutes of it.
Right. But what they were doing is they're telling a story. And guess what? Wrestling's not just about spots. It's not just about who can jump the farthest on who. It's not about who can do a swan dive into a triple, whatever the heck it is, and do. That's not what it's all about. It's about storytelling. It always has been. Going back to when I watched it when I was a kid, I got hooked because of stories. Not because of what they were doing in the ring necessarily. I got hooked because I wanted to see what's going to happen next. And that's what they did. They told a story in that ring. Sami is the good guy. Roman is now the bad guy. And man, oh man, if Roman wasn't already established as enough of a heel as he was, he might have went even up another notch. Sami's wife, he's going out talking to Sami's wife, and he's talking. I mean, come on. This was brilliant. From all angles, this was brilliant. And I told you guys this, and please remember this down the road. You're all going to be very, very sad when this ends. I'm telling you, you will. Because this is a once-in-a-lifetime storyline that you will probably never see the likes of again, possibly in your generation. And I'm not kidding. So when it ends with Roman, and if it's going to end at Mania and Cody wins, you've seen something historic, because this doesn't happen very often. So, but yes, for me, absolutely. It was definitely an instant classic. This should be something that they have in the archives for up and coming wrestlers, that they have them watch when they're talking about storylines and selling a story, as opposed to just selling maneuvers and moves and things like that. So yeah, definite sell for me. Let's see what everybody's saying.
I want to say something to Conrad's point here, is saying there are multiple ways to tell stories. It depends on what you prefer. I think watching New Japan helped me realize you could tell a story in the ring. Yeah, I agree with that so much. Because I think you can tell a story not just from having a microphone or doing a lot of talking in a backstage promo, but you can do just as much with the physicality in the ring and your move set and different things of that nature. So yeah, I agree with that. I think stories can be told in multiple ways. Different people like different things. There are some people who prefer the what some people refer to as spot fest. I always kind of shy away from that term, but yeah, I like physicality in the ring. And I think even as crazy as the match was between Josh and Bully Ray, that's a good example of storytelling and the hatred that both men had for each other, and what Bully had put Josh through. And to get to that point, I mean, we saw a freaking cheese grater get used, for goodness sakes. So, so just there are multiple ways to tell a story. So I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I can't look at cheese quite the same way either, or use a cheese grater. They're gonna stop me from using any appliances that I enjoyed. I still can't go back to pizza cutters because I just get queasy. So yeah. Oh man. All right, man. What's up next?
Oh man. Yeah. Freaking cheese graters, man. And pizza cutters.
Oh
man. James Chadwick loved it though, by the way.
Of course.
All right, next up. Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt will be a great program that will elevate both performers, Joe. Sell or no sell?
Oh, I'm absolutely going to sell this because my theory right off the bat with this, when I first heard that this was possibly going to be a matchup, was the fact that they could not only go with just him versus Bray, but they can also do that faction that everybody was hoping would come to pass. I had planned it out like this. Let's say Bobby wins, which he did, and then all of a sudden Bray and Howdy attack Bobby Lashley. Right? They take Bobby out. Bobby's just one man, and they kind of jump him and take him out. Well, what would the next reaction be? MVP has been bugging Bobby to come back with the Hurt Business and kind of restart that thing. Bobby was denying it. No, I don't. Well, when you get attacked, maybe you do need some help in your corner. So then Bobby goes back with the Hurt Business. Next thing you know, the Hurt Business goes after Bray and Howdy, and maybe they attack them and return the favor. Well, then at that point, they need some help, and then you get faction versus faction, possibly at WrestleMania. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant, because the Hurt Business, not only for what we're going to see from Bray, but the Hurt Business, they carried wrestling for a while during COVID. They were an amazing faction and dissolved much too quickly. Vince, for whatever reason, decided he didn't want it anymore, got rid of it. They were amazing. And to see them come back is even better. So however they decide to go with this, even if they do it as a singles match, and if it just stays Bobby and Bray, I'm down with it, because it's something completely different. It's something new that we haven't seen before. They don't have a whole ton of history, but they have a little bit when the thing with the Fiend and the Hurt Business cross paths. And I think it's just going to be, look, it's new. It's something different that we haven't seen, and I'm down. I like both of them. Bobby's a great worker, and I do believe, yes, it will elevate both. And whoever loses, if it's Bobby that loses, there's a reason for it, and then maybe he is back in the Hurt Business permanently. So, yeah, man, I think it's going to be great for both of them.
I will say this. I think this has all the potential in the world. To really, I think, and I mentioned this in the chat about someone else, but I don't think Bobby Lashley gets the credit he deserves sometimes. I mean, you think about a guy with the longevity that he's had in the business to still do what he's doing. And the guy, I mean, he's done great work. I think if this is a vehicle to reunite the Hurt Business, obviously I was very vocal about this. I even wrote some articles for Sportskeeda.
You did? Yeah, I remember that.
Hurt Business. So yeah, I've always been big on the Hurt Business. Really love. Yes, Brandon, that's correct. If you don't agree with it, you can. It's just no sell. So I'm gonna sell it. I think this has a lot of potential to elevate both guys. It's something different, which I enjoy, because they could have gone the other route. They could have gone with Bray and Brock, and that probably would have been more salivating for some people. But I'm a fan of this. I want to see different types of programs, different types of stories. So yeah, I'm in for this one. I'm excited.
I know there were some people right off the bat that were disappointed that Brock didn't win, but let me tell you two things I think about that. Number one, I do not think Brock enjoys working with supernatural stuff. That's number one. Number two, I really don't think Brock is going to allow Bray to win and go over. That's number two. So if that's the case and Brock had to have won that match, we're going right back to Goldbergsville. Because do you want Bray to come back, win one match, and then lose already? Yeah, I don't know if that's the right way to go. So I just don't know that Brock would have been the good thing. Now, granted, this could go in a different direction. This could go where it might be a triple threat. Now, Omos is in the picture, so I doubt it. But if something happens with that, this could end up being a triple threat. So we don't know. But I don't know. Either way, I think it's, again, I like it. I think it's going to be good. Yeah. It's not what people would have picked. And again, we're going to go back to Jeff's point in the airing of grievances. See, it goes right back. It comes full circle. We're going to go right back there because everybody else had something in their head that they thought that it was going to be. And then when it's not is when the hate comes out.
See, right? Joe, I just picked up what you just did. We're talking about Bray, and you mentioned something going full circle.
Yes.
I see what you did there. I like that. I like that.
But yeah, this is what you're going to see. So when it gets announced, and if it's indeed the match at WrestleMania, people are going to, all those people who imagined it was going to be him and someone else, or him and something else they had in their head, you're going to see all the hate flow. So just be prepared, because that's how it is. So, all right, man, what's the next topic?
All right, next topic. This one, I expect some lively discussion in the chat on this.
Yeah, everybody's been doing good out there, man. You guys are commenting. LA Knight got so much more established by feuding with Bray, but then they have to go and let him lose a match needlessly to Kofi. let's some good comments out there, man. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Sell or no sell, topic number 3, Jay White. Yeah, right. Jay White's name in the news because obviously he wrestled his last match in New Japan Pro Wrestling, was defeated by Kingston, end up outside of WWE and AEW. So most people think that's where he's going to end up, would be WWE or AEW. So we're going with this a little bit differently. Jay White will end up outside, so not with AEW or WWE. Sell or no sell, Jeff? Where do you think Jay White's going to go?
Oh man, I can tell you where I hope he goes.
Yeah, same.
And yes, I'm a homer, so I will readily admit that I hope he ends up at Impact Wrestling. I'll say that.
Yep.
So for me, this is a very difficult one because I think that WWE and AEW are on the fast track, the inside track to get him. But I'm gonna sell it just because I'm a homer and I have hope. So so that's the only reason I'm doing this, because conventional wisdom says that he's gonna end up in one of those places. So
yeah, and which is exactly kind of why I have to no sell it, even though I agree with your point. 100%. He's already been there, and he was great when he was there. But we didn't get matchups. A lot of it was tag matchups and stuff with the Bullet Club. So we didn't get to see him go up against some of the best there. I mean, could you imagine the matchups? Jay White against Speedball Mike Bailey, Jay White against Josh Alexander, I mean, the matchups would just be amazing. And so we didn't get to see all that. And I would absolutely love to see that in Impact. But I do think that the big two are going to fight for him. He's already been in AEW some as well because of the crossovers and stuff with New Japan. So he is familiar with that. I don't know, man, but whoever gets this guy, he's a huge name. Some people are saying, well, they're not going to let Jay White be Jay White if he goes to a certain company and stuff like that. And they're going to change him and all this. Don't get caught up in that because that's not always going to be true. But no, I have to no sell it because I do believe in my heart of hearts that he's going to end up with either WWE or AEW at some point in time. Conrad just said WWE is getting one of the big three of the three: Kenny Omega, Ibushi, or Jay White. So, I mean, can you imagine Kenny Omega in WWE? Good Lord. I don't know. I think it's between those two companies, though. If Jay White feels that that he wants to go to one of the bigger companies, I do believe it'll be between those two. Barry Monkey says no sell. I think he'll go where the money is, but hope we see him in Impact first. Agreed. Jeff and I are the same way. Bonus Baby says just don't know how he fits in WWE. They already have Seth Rollins, which I would picture Jay White being in WWE. Coog says no sell. He has so many ties to AEW in my view, but he's a toss-up. Wonder what Eddie Kingston told him in the ring after the match in his ear. He said, we're going to go out for a beer afterwards. Are you cool with that? That's what he said. What's up, Joe and Jeff? Did you see AEW Dustin is with Keith Lee now and looks like a pastor? Yes. Yeah. Cody's bro. Yes. Bigger question, what happens to Bullet Club? Well, it lives on, of course, in Impact a little bit. So, yeah, that's a good question. We'll see.
I want to see what they do in New Japan with it, though. Like, who's going to be the leader?
That's
is it going to be Kenta? Who is it going to be? Yep. I like that thought right there, Conrad. He says if Jay goes to Impact, you could establish them as Bullet Club with different bosses, like a Fight Club. I agree. I agree.
That's a great thought.
Let me ask you this too, Conrad. Could you do the same if Jay goes to AEW? Could you do it that way then too? Because I want to see what happens to Bullet Club. Who's the new leader? What's going to happen with the group? Or Tama. Okay. Do you? That's another name that's been floated around too.
Yeah.
Is possibly going to WWE. I know some people thought that was the the case. But yeah, I just some thoughts out there.
Yeah. Yeah. There was another little tease brought up for those of you who are Impact fans too, that was out on Twitter, that was shared with me by Nails with Dax, and just a little tease from FTR about Impact with the Impact tag titles on there. So man, oh man, if those guys head over to Impact, that would really be amazing for their tag division. FTR is just unbelievable, and a lot of people were immediately saying FTR is going to go back to WWE. So you just don't know. You just don't know. But man, can you imagine if FTR goes to Impact? Oh boy. I think I'm going to copyright me nasty. Just wanted y'all thoughts, said Derek. Jay White goes to WWE. I would have him end Gunther's long IC title reign. David Finlay needs to push his push. If he doesn't get it soon, he never will. Yes, you could, because Jay was never kicked out. Conrad says. All right, cool. Well, there you go. That is our Sell or No Sell segment for the night. Appreciate you chiming in and the comments and stuff like that. Thank you so much for that. We always appreciate participation. Class participation is good.
Participation, yeah. That's a big part of the grade here is class participation.
Yeah, it is.
James Chadwick says FTR goes to Impact, I'll probably have a stroke. James, let me ask you this: if FTR, which I don't think they will, a man can dream.
Yes.
But if they were to end up in Impact, what's the first feud you put them in? And Joe, I'll ask you the same thing. To anyone that watches Impact, who's the first feud that you would give FTR if they end up in Impact? Let's see. RK Shuttleworth asking if they get stars for class participation. We'll give you check marks. Joe and I have a little board, and we'll give you check marks. Yeah. Or a smiley face. We'll just draw a smiley.
Oh man, look at what they're saying. You guys all. That's exactly what I'm thinking too. Motor City Machine Guns and FTR.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Except for Barry Monkey. Barry Monkey saying Swinger and Dice. The powerhouse tag team that is
powerhouse of Swinger and Dice.
Yes.
Dude. I mean, the thoughts, if Cardona hasn't left there, you could have Myers and Cardona. You could have Heath and Rhino. You can have the Bullet Club, obviously. Yes, the Bullet Club. So much that they could do. I mean, even if they're only there for a short amount of time, and sometimes they'll only come in, they'll sign for like by the way, and I don't know why that just popped in my head. What the hell happened to Bobby Fish? he came and disappeared. It was in like 2 shows. I mean, was he there for like a layover at some point that he just had come and gone?
As we say in the business, he was there to have a cup of coffee. He had a cup of coffee there in Impact.
Everybody was freaking out when he showed up. Oh, it's Bobby Fish. And now he's just gone. That was it. But yeah, oh my God, FTR there would be amazing. Yeah. Bobby Fish learned to chill out.
That's true.
Conrad. That's true. Yeah. Bobby Fish went fishing.
He was a heat magnet for a little bit.
He was.
He was a bit of heat magnet for a little bit.
Yeah, he really was. He got from some Impact people. Yeah, he did. He did. FTR could happen. Oh, it'd be awesome. I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. All right, Jeff. What do we got up next?
So we teased this.
I know what's coming.
This is favorite matches of all time.
Oh man, now we need class participation big time.
I know.
Here we go.
We really need class participation.
Here we go. We told you about this. We gave you a little warning. We said to come prepared. This is where the homework pays off. So here we go, guys. We are going to talk about our favorite matches of all time. We brought this up because I just want to see like how different everyone is going to be, and everyone is going to have something different to say because we're all different individuals. Derek has to pull over on the side of the road to participate. I love your commitment, Derek.
Love the commitment.
I love your commitment. So let us know, what are your favorite matches? I want to see that out there. We'll try to shout out as many as we can. But again, you're going to see now, those of you who are here tonight with us, you're in the chat, or those of you who are watching later on, you're going to see how different and how everybody is going to say something different. Everybody is going to have something that meant something to them in the world of wrestling. And that's why they're going to pick what they pick. And Jeff and I are going to do the same. So here we go. Here we go. Travis is saying Raven versus Abyss. Raven versus Abyss. Alexa Bliss Gamer, John Cena versus The Rock, WrestleMania 29. Again, you're going to see this as well as almost a generational thing, because some of you are much, much younger. And so you're going to pick much, much newer matches rather than the stuff that you're probably going to hear from me and Jeff. Raven versus Abyss dog collar match, specifically Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 in Houston, Texas. Scott Hall versus the 1-2-3 Kid. Undertaker versus Triple H, WrestleMania 17. Cena versus The Rock, WrestleMania 29. Macho Man versus Steamboat. Taker versus Mankind, Hell in a Cell. AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe. Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle, just to name a few. The Rock and Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. Steamboat Savage. Michaels Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. Omega versus Okada. Macho Man versus Steamboat. FTR versus the Briscoes. And Flair versus Steamboat. Look at all the Ricky Steamboat. Jeff's loving that.
Hey, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell. A lot of people are going to say that. Big Dan says the Firefly Funhouse match, Bray versus Cena, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold in WrestleMania. We've got greatest double turn wrestling history, 1992 Royal Rumble, Gorilla and Bobby Heenan. My second would be the entire AJ versus Christopher Daniels feud. C Wrestling says The Rock and Hulk Hogan. Joe is Fred Flintstone versus yes.
What was the guy's name, Mr. What was the Corey guy's name?
Mr. Slate.
Mr. Slate. Was Mr. Slate the referee?
Mr. Slate was the referee, yes. Yes. Yeah, Mr. Slate, the owner of the quarry, was the referee, yes. And then you had his kid going bam, 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 bam in the background while they were wrestling. Eddie Guerrero's last match holds a special place in my heart because he's my all-time. See, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're going to have reasons for liking what you like. And that's the point. The point is different things are going to be different for everyone. And you know why it's cool is because wrestling does this. It's like seeing a movie. It's like entertainment. It's like things that you remember as a fond memory because you saw this and this had an effect on you. I saw Bruno Sammartino versus Andre the Giant at Boston Garden. Dude, that's
amazing.
That's awesome. I did see Andre the Giant live as well in a local gym. Was unbelievable. Undertaker versus Michaels or Omega versus Okada. Sting winning NWA World Title from Ric Flair in a 60-minute match. Steamboat was my favorite wrestler. You're not alone. We've got another guy in our on our show right now who is agreeing with you. Omega versus Okada. Dominion, JYD Bockwinkel. Kerry Von Erich versus Flair. Mil Mascaras versus the Destroyer. Lucha Brothers versus Bucks. Steamboat versus Savage. 80s Savage versus Steamboat Austin. Look at all the Savage and Steamboat. That's amazing. That was such a good match. All right, we're gonna stop there, and we can give a couple. We're gonna each give you one of ours because we could do this all day, like Captain America. Jeff, I'm gonna start off with this one.
Okay.
And it's probably not going to be on anyone else's list, and it's mine and mine alone. But I'm going to say, and it's because of so many things. At a point in my life where I was just discovering horror films and where I was just discovering the fact that I was such a Jason Voorhees mark, Jake the Snake Roberts against the Honky Tonk Man. And Jake the Snake had Alice freaking Cooper in his corner. Oh my God. Listen, Alice Cooper has been around forever, all through the 70s, late 60s. The only song I ever heard by him prior to the one that he did for Friday the 13th was School's Out, because everybody knew School's Out. But other than that, I really didn't really know much about him, and I wasn't a fan. When he came out with that song, He's Back, the Man Behind the Mask, in the 80s for Friday the 13th Part 6, oh my God, I was hooked. And when I found out he was going to be in WrestleMania, I'm like, this is fantastic. And watching that match, and believe me, it was also because of how much I love Jake the Snake. I loved Jake the Snake Roberts. He's in my top 5 wrestlers of all time. The promos he gave were creepy, and so like just the tone of his voice and the intimidation, and oh my God, he didn't need to come out with that giant snake. I mean, that's even more intimidating, right? Having a giant snake with you in a ring, but he didn't need it. He was intimidating himself. And he wasn't a huge dude. He wasn't one of these big, muscular, larger than life guys that you used to see in WWE at the time. He wasn't. But man, that dude could intimidate you with his words. And I love Jake the Snake Roberts in this match. And let me tell you something else. For as much as I loved him, I hated the freaking Honky Tonk Man, dude. Could not stand that man. He's one of those guys I couldn't wait for him to lose. I'm like, and back when you watch WWE, he'd win every single week because they'd go up against people. They'd go up against guys like ST Jones, Special Delivery Jones, and of course he's going to win, but I'm rooting for every single person that he ever wrestled. And then when he got that snake and the snake was in the ring, I remember the whole thing. And I saw that when I was like, God, I was probably 13. But oh my God, it was amazing for me. And I'll never forget it. And I love the whole thing. I love the fact that they won. I love that Alice Cooper got involved. And I just read a story recently because I had to go look it up. Alice Cooper came out and said he was terrified. He said he was absolutely terrified being in there with these big, huge dudes. And he's like, I didn't know what to do. He's like, I'm thinking of what am I going to do if they fall on me or if they bang into me? He said, I'm just going to go down. And he said he was in the ring with giants. But that one I'll never forget. And it was, I'd been watching wrestling for, 3-4 years prior to that, but, it was so special for me just because of the time I was in. And yeah, so that's one of mine, Jeff.
Yeah. And Travis, between certain comments, I'm going to be nice, says, here's a tough question. Who had the better DDT, Jake Roberts or Raven? I know who my pick is.
I have to go with Jake the Snake, man. Again, I have.
As much as I love Raven, I gotta go Jake the Snake. It was just his DDT was like so smooth and clean, just perfection.
It was, and it was so devastating back then.
Yes,
when you see that now, it's like, they just walk up from it. Move. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And when he did that, when you would see him like do that slap with his wrist and boom, down the guy would go, and that's it. It was just over. The guy was done. And oh my God, he just did it, like Jeff said, so effortlessly and just so quick. He could slap that on somebody and down, and that was it. The match is over. I totally agree. Totally agree, dude. Well, Jeff, got to give us one of yours.
One of mine is obviously WrestleMania 3. Other people have mentioned it. Steamboat Savage. Just man, clinic. I'm gonna dive down the rabbit hole a little bit because if you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you know that Ricky Steamboat is my favorite. He just is. Anything that he did with Flair, I was fortunate enough to see them at the Greensboro Coliseum when I was young, and anything that Ricky and Flair did was great. I got to throw another one out too. This is down the rabbit hole a little bit, but for you old WCW fans, him and Rick Rude. They had it was a 30-minute Iron Man match, I believe, back in 91 or 92. Beach Bash, I believe is what it was. But I hated Rick Rude because he was such a great heel.
Yep.
But honestly, that match still stands out. Beach Blast 92 says, Conrad, thank you. So yeah, that match to me was tremendous. I mean, another great performer in Rick Rude that I don't think gets nearly enough credit for what he did as a heel. You want to talk about a body guy?
Yep.
Dude was chiseled, and
no doubt.
Yeah, and honestly, man, my mom loved that dude, and it wasn't because of his wrestling ability. I'll just say that.
Yeah, he was popular with the ladies.
He was popular with the ladies. Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Oh my gosh. Let's see what other people have got here. CM Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011. Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 21. CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. Derek said I couldn't choose, so sorry in advance. No particular order. Taker versus Michaels, WrestleMania 25. TLC match, SmackDown, Hardys, Dudleys, Jericho. Oh, of course. The ladder match. Yeah, dude, that was... They still talk about that today. Between Bully Ray and the Hardys, we're talking about that on a podcast at one time. That was one of the best. One of the best. 80s Savage versus Steamboat, 90s Austin versus The Rock, Cena versus Orton, Triple H versus Undertaker, Omega versus Okada, Dominion, JYD and Bockwinkel, AWA title, Kerry Von Erich versus Flair, Mil Mascaras versus Destroyer, Lucha Brothers versus Bucks, All Out Steel Cage, Steamboat versus Savage, WrestleMania 3. Let's see here what we got. I'm missing some down here. Daniel Bryan's first championship victory. It isn't because of the match itself, but the story behind it. I'll be honest. It was a fantastic moment for him. Nobody thought he'd get through it because of the challenges they put up to him to climb over. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, WrestleMania 38. Let's see here. Gargano versus Ciampa was insane. The Shield versus Rhodes family. I was there live, and it makes me tear up and think of my dad. See, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, things are different for everyone because of certain things that we remember. Sting versus Hollywood Hogan at Starrcade. Oh my God, I was so into WCW. So into it when that whole thing happened with NWO and then Crow Sting, and then oh my God, I remember strange things about some of those matches. The match where Roddy Piper wrestled Hogan, we laugh about that.
Locked away in Alcatraz.
Locked away in Alcatraz, and he came to the ring, and Hogan's acting like he smelled bad because he stunk because he didn't wash in weeks. Oh dear God, it was so funny. It's you just remember so many things for different reasons. I'll go with the second one, and this for much different reasons from my first, and it's already been mentioned. Undertaker versus Mankind, and
oh my gosh,
we used to when I got a little bit older, we used to meet over friends' houses and watch pay-per-views. Because it was kind of the thing, you get a party people together and just, have some food and stuff like that and sit and watch the pay-per-view. And I just remember sitting and watching with my friends and seeing the stuff that happened. And when Foley went off the top or went through that cage, and then we're seeing him get carted off. And I'll never forget when one of my friends was there and said, "Is there a tooth sticking out of his cheek?" And I'm like, and we're sitting there trying to stare at it, and of course you didn't have the ability to pause live TV and stuff back then. It wasn't around, so we're sitting there and we're like, he did not, and that's what ended up happening. And it's like, oh my God, the stuff that was done in that match was just tremendous. And then the fact that when they wheeled him away, we're like, yeah, he's done. Like, there's no way. And then when he comes back down after that, it was like, dear Lord. I'd never seen anything like that before. Never. Yeah. And to see that happen, was just amazing. And the only thing I could even remember going back that I could probably put up against something like that was when Snuka climbed the cage in Madison Square Garden and went off the top of the cage on a Bob Backlund when Snuka was a heel back then. But that was the first time you saw anybody ever climb a cage. But man, what Mankind and Taker did and the story they told and the things that they did to their bodies in that match, it's just, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. And it was just tremendous.
Yeah.
Gargano Ciampa at NXT, Bullet Club Ace and Chris for the titles, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Danis is Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Kenny Omega, Rainmaker, John Cena, Undertaker, Young Bucks, Briscoes, Pac and Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, HBK versus Vince McMahon, Young Bucks, Omega and Page. Let's see. Young Bucks versus Golden Lovers is another special one for me. CM Punk versus MJF, Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness, Ultimate Warrior versus Hogan. Another good one. That's another good one. Because again, the fact that Warrior beat him was just shocking to begin with. Omega versus Callahan, Usos versus New Day, Big E versus Roman Reigns, HBK versus Bret Hart, Iron Man match, Stone Cold, I think, versus Bret Hart, where Stone Cold bleeds, any Bray match. And when I saw one of Yokozuna's last matches in the UK months after he died, Gunther versus Dragunov. Oh my God, I remember that one. I remember that was a great match. Jeff, give me another one.
Man, there's so many great ones. Honestly, James Chadwick brought this one up, and I didn't think about it until he brought it up. But Eddie Guerrero and freaking Rey Mysterio, Halloween Havoc 1997. That was tremendous. That was when Rey had the purple mask and outfit and everything. It was just, that match was tremendous. And at the time, as a diehard WCW guy, I was all about the cruiserweights. The matches that those guys had. I mean, you had Chris Jericho in there with Dean Malenko, and I'm gonna throw his name out there. This is wrestling matches, so don't beat me up too bad. But Chris Benoit. The matches that those guys had, along with Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrero, Ultimo Dragon. I mean, there was just so many great matches that WCW had back in the day. But yeah, that's another one for me. I'm gonna try to branch out a little bit from my Ricky Steamboat, because I could just name a ton of his matches.
I have a history of really loving tag team wrestling. And my first live event in a big arena was at the Philadelphia Spectrum that my dad took me to. The main event was Bob Backlund versus the Masked Superstar in that arena. But I got to see my favorite tag team at the time, the Strongbow brothers, Chief Jay and Jules Strongbow, go up against the Wild Samoans. And man, oh man, I hated the Wild Samoans as well. And those two battled, and I loved, my God, when Chief Jay Strongbow would do that Indian dance around, and he would do the knee lifts. He would go around the ring and then do the knee lifts. Oh God, I'd mark out when I was a kid, but I loved them, and I got to see them battle. It was amazing. And I've always loved tag team wrestling. You could show me almost any match Demolition wrestled. When Demolition came out again, that's going back to my roots of the horror looking people in wrestling. They were like superheroes for me in a couple of ways. One, because of the mask that they wore. Two, because when they took their masks off, they were painted like Kiss. So I liked them for more than one reason. And any Demolition match I absolutely loved. So that's just my my love for tag teams, and that's where my love for tag team wrestling comes from. Banks versus Bailey. Oh, great match. Jake taught Raven the DDT, as he mentioned during his feud with DDP and WCW. Undertaker versus Orton at Mania 21. Undertaker versus Kane in the Inferno match. was a huge Raven fan. Said Travis, I have the match when Edge won the title, cashing in Money in the Bank against John Cena. Goldberg Hogan for the championship in the Georgia Dome is my absolute number one. Sheamus versus Gunther Clash at the Castle. Bailey versus Sasha's matches were special. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Beach Blast 92, Ravishing. Man, look at all these matches you guys are shouting out. I love this, and I'm very glad we did it because it's bringing back. I mean, you guys have to say it brings back good memories. It really does. And what it shows me is there's 40 some of you, or maybe a little more in chat. You know what I'm not seeing? I'm not seeing anyone hating on anything. I'm seeing people sharing the love of this business. I'm seeing people bringing up matches and telling us why they meant what they meant to you. And I'm not seeing anyone in the chat hating on anything. Oh, that sucked. Oh, that's that. And I love it. And this is what wrestling is about. It's about making memories for someone. Everyone's going to be different, and you all are. You all have all different stuff you're yelling out. Some the same, but most of you are yelling out different stuff because it's important and it meant something to you. And it's great. I absolutely love it. And to be honest, it's the reason why Jeff and I do what we do. Mm-hmm. It really is. It really
Travis is bringing up our next top list that we need to do, best feuds. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This is the kind of thing we used to do, these little things on Twitch when we were doing stuff on Twitch back then, like just Twitch specific. But you know what? I mean, if this goes over, we could make this a thing on this show. Yeah, we can make it part of this. You know, we do the Book of Wrestlers, but sometimes that gets, it's hard sometimes because, we take things in a different direction. But we could do this kind of stuff if you guys dig it, and obviously you participated, so appreciate that. But we could do this. Yeah, we could do this. We could pick a different topic when we do these shows, and do the same thing we're doing here, and do a different list of something. But yeah, we could definitely do that. If you're enjoying, let us know and we'll keep doing it. Can I change mine? Sure. you're allowed.
Yes, you're allowed.
Vince McMahon versus God. Because it's Jesse's favorite match, and she's my best friend, so I wanted to mention it for her.
And Jesse completely no-sold that later on in the chat, just saying.
She did. Oh, did she? Oh, I'm way down in the chat again. Yeah, there's. Oh my God, there is a ton go up. See, the heel heat for Jesse has for that match is just amazing. And here I thought peroxide wouldn't burn anything like rubbing alcohol. I was wrong. Yes, they're going at it. I was way behind in the chat. Beer Money versus Motor City Machine Guns. People still calling out stuff. This is amazing.
Yeah,
George the Animal Steel and Haystack Calhoun. Oh my God,
that's going back a ways right there.
Whew. Josh and Speedball. I can't deny that. That was a fantastic match.
Joe, I was actually going to throw this question out to the chat and to you. In the last 2 years, I won't ask all time, but the best match you've seen in the last 2 years.
Wow.
And we've seen some good ones.
We have.
We've done watch-alongs for some really fantastic ones.
You know what? I might have to break that down into singles and tag team.
Yeah.
The tag team match, the two of them we got back to back with Motor City Machine Guns in the North when we were watching the shows back then when we first started were tremendous tag team matches. Tremendous. And I think I have to agree with the chat. And because of more than one reason, I have to agree with Dylan. No, I'm sorry. I have to go with Josh and Speedball. That was a free match on a weekly program that ended up being almost an Iron Man match that was not announced.
Yeah, unadvertised, unannounced.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I really don't. And those two, blew my mind. Me and Tazzy doing that watch along, like my mind was blown. I'm like, how long is this going to go? Like, and we're sitting there like, oh my God. Yeah, I have to agree. That was amazing. Conrad saying Briscoes versus FTR.
I'm there too.
Yeah.
I'm right there. That was
what's yours, dude?
Yeah, that between that and I'm gonna go back a little bit. I'm gonna go to I know someone mentioned it, but Josh and TJP, their Iron Man match, that was UTI that bled over into show. Yeah, that was really, really good.
Yeah, it was. That was amazing. Yeah, that's a great pick. Yeah, it was. It's funny because you almost forget about matches like that, but yeah, that was awesome.
I'm gonna throw out another one too: Rich Swann and Kenny Omega.
Oh yeah.
Another one I'm gonna throw out is Moose and Kenny.
Yep. Yeah.
So
yeah, when Impact had that stuff going on with Kenny, they had some amazing matches.
Some amazing stuff.
Yeah, they really did. They had some amazing matches with some of them. Jesse, what comment did I miss? I probably missed a lot because the chat's just flying up the line because everybody's throwing out stuff that they had. So I don't know which one I missed. Let's see, AJ Styles versus Christian Cage, TNA Impact Wrestling Classic. Austin versus McMahon is the only feud that matters. FTR Briscoes series, Josh versus TJP. Yeah, okay, that's that. Yeah, Jeff just mentioned that. Best matches for storytelling or best technical match. Yeah, we could. You know what I'll do is I will take some of your comments and we'll make a poll. You guys can go. I'll put it up on Twitter. I'll post it on YouTube. And you guys can go and you can vote. And I'll put like 4 people's ideas in there for that poll. And that's what we'll do on our next show. So we'll pick a poll and we'll keep doing this. Why not? You guys, obviously you guys dig it. A lot of people are out there voting. So we'll do that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thank you for the participation. That's amazing. Alex Shelley versus Jay White, Sergeant Slaughter and Iron Sheik, says Michael King. Queen of the Mountain. Oh, dude. I'd never seen one of those before. So that was amazing. Anytime I see something new, I absolutely love it. So, yeah, that was fantastic. I love that.
Got to shout out Jordan and Deanna's program, too. The Iron Woman match that they had was tremendous. I think that was at Emergence a couple years ago. Yep. That was tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. Danielson versus MJF Iron Man match, Raven versus Sam. Listen, you may all think I'm silly for doing it, but I enjoyed it so much. I'm putting out the match from a few days ago with Moose and Joe freaking Hendry because I laughed my ass off. And I don't care. It was not a wrestling match whatsoever, but I laughed my ass off and I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I'm throwing that out there. I absolutely loved it. C's heel heat response you read was to me saying C torments me for being his best friend. I hate that Vince versus God match. Slamovich versus Grace. Wow, there's a recent one for you. That
was good. And I'll tell you this, I watched it back later, but being there in person at Bound for Glory, it was so good, man. That's right, that Jeff, whole night was so good.
Yeah, that's right. Jeff was there for that. Yeah, it makes it even better. Oh, I am a Hendry lover without a doubt, and I'll admit that. I told you I bought the tee. I have the T-shirt. The T-shirt's on its way, and so every Thursday night Impact, I'm gonna have the Joe Hendry T-shirt on. And yes, Travis, he is. We're trying to campaign to get him on our show. That has to happen. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to talk because I'm going to be starstruck, but that would be absolutely amazing if we can get Joe Hendry on our show. It would be awesome. All right, guys. Well, we got to move on. Love to keep doing this, but it's getting late, and Jeff's got to get up for work tomorrow. So, Jeff, we're moving on. What is our next segment?
All right, next. So we go from favorite matches to favorite moments of the week, and this, I got to tell you, Joe, this week is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it really is. There was so much that went on this week between Impact and the pay-per-view and the go-home show, and we had stuff happening on Dynamite, and we had stuff happening on NXT, and we had Raw and SmackDown. Yeah, there was so much going on this week. So
Just a lot.
It's going to be tough. This one's going to be a tough top three. Let us know in the chat. Play along. What were your top 3 moments of the week? List them 3 and then 2 and then 1. Don't put them all together. We'll read them out as we go. But Jeff, go ahead. Number 3 moment of the week for you.
Number 3 moment of the week for me was I'm stalling. I didn't expect for it to end that quickly. The little video there.
Oh, the video, yeah.
Yeah. Number 3 moment of the week for me is going to be the Fun House, and seeing the Fun House return and all of the wild, unexpected glory. So that's the number 3 moment for me.
So Jeff goes with the Fun House. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is a hard week because there's so many. I'm going to go with the confrontation between Sami Callahan. Sami Callahan. I'm going to Sami Zayn. Oops, wrong Sami. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Was Sami and Kevin this week? See, I could be getting all my times wrong here.
That was Monday, I believe, Joe.
Yeah, yep. So Sami and Kevin Owens after the pay-per-view, because you just had to see what was next. What was going to happen next after that whole thing that happened at that pay-per-view? Where was this going to go? So I think that, Sami and Kevin and how that all played out, because a lot of people are automatically saying, well, they're going to wrestle the Usos for the titles. Not so fast, because Kevin Owens wants no part of it. So we're going to have to see again that they've got some time. So we're going to have to see if that develops, and you could kind of think that maybe you have a path of where they're going to go, but you're not 100% sure. And even after the stuff on SmackDown, you still don't know, but I love the interaction with him and Kevin Owens. And I love how Kevin Owens was like, listen, dude, you betrayed me. You sat there and watched while my family was in the crowd and then beat me up. So I'm sorry, man, but I'm not helping you. And I love that, because he's just not. It wouldn't be logical for Kevin to just say, yeah, I'm in, I'm going to help you. There wouldn't be a logical part of the story. So I love it. The stuff with the bloodline is must-see TV every single week. And the fact that it could be coming to an end means even more. And the stuff we saw with Cody and Paul Heyman has been tremendous, and so it's must see TV, and that was my number 3 of the week. Let me see what people have here. Number 3, Sami and OK promo. We've got success for MLW, ROH, and Impact as a whole. Glad to see them getting talked about as Conrad's number 3. Paul Heyman's promo on Raw during Cody's segment. Yep. You talking about the one where he got a little personal, didn't he? Mentioning Cody's wife. Oh boy. How he said Roman's a happily married man, but he's not. It's like, ooh, yeah. Number 3, Cody and Paul Heyman. Edge versus Theory on Raw. Okay. Sami versus Sami. Book it. Do it. Double Sammys. Let's go. Mickey James biting Slamovich's tongue was number 3.
That happened.
That did happen. You don't see that happen very often. I'm sure Derek would probably agree with you. Sammy's video blog posted on YouTube chronicling the day of Elimination Chamber. That's cool. Funhouse went above some people's heads. It was interesting. Can't watch MLW anymore. Sami KO segment number 2. The match, Bailey and Josh, was terrific. Gonna go with Owens and Sami. You could feel the story. Number 1, Sami Uso saga. My number 3 is a combo: Cody and Paul, and Sami and KO. Evil Uno's main event match. Yes, how about Evil Uno main event match? That's awesome. After all these years, I always loved that dude. So yeah, glad to see that. That's amazing that he got that. All right, Jeff, what's your number 2?
Number 2 for me, I'm gonna stall a little bit less on this one. Number 2 for me this week, I have to go back to Friday to No Surrender, and I'm gonna go with, and I never do this, Joe, You know I'm not one to gloat or
Oh no,
or do any of that. But the fact that I actually got Bully Ray's opponent right, I, that was pretty funny. So I'm gonna go with that being my number 2, and not just because I got it right, but just seeing Bhupinder get into some higher profile matches. I want to see what they do with Bhupinder in 2023. So.
We're gonna get Jeff to admit one day that all this time he's been writing for Impact Wrestling. He's going to admit it. There's gonna come a time. It may be when our show it may take 10 years from now, when we're both much older, but he's going to admit it at some point someday that he actually works for Impact Wrestling. So it's gonna happen somewhere down the road. My number 2. I'm gonna go with Jeff's number 3, and I'm gonna go with the Funhouse. I saw the comments in our chat and I knew people would, because so many of our the people who watch our show are Bray fans, and when I saw all the stuff in the comments about how people were just like confused, and I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be good. And then as soon as I got done with the show on Friday, I went and watched it, and I'm like, I had to watch it a couple times. And I'm like, wow. That's really, really good stuff. Like saying everything without saying anything. And it's tremendous. That's the reason why I like Bray Wyatt, because he makes you think. It's intellectual. And again, it's not for everybody, but I dig it. So yeah, I really dig it. So that's my number 2. All right, let's go to our number 1 wrestling moment of the week. Jeff, what's your number 1?
Number 1 is probably going to be your number 1. But I had so much fun, and we're going to talk about it again later. But my number 1 is just the amount of fun that I had in that dot combat match. And you can, listen, it's not a technical wrestling match, any of that, but it was just a lot of fun. And it's been a long time since I've laughed and had that much fun with a match. It was completely crazy. You pull out a Sega Dreamcast, you have Moose dancing very provocatively, like he's in a club with VR.
I want that VR program, by the way. Wherever he happened to be, I want that. I don't know, but damn, man, did that look fun? Yes.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Barry Monkey bringing up another one that I considered the Monsters Ball match between Trey Miguel and Crazy Steve was tremendous on Thursday. Impact had a really strong week for me. Just a lot of great stuff going on. Yes, I believe in Joe Hendry, Travis. I do.
My number 1 is the same as Jeff's number 1, without a doubt. Because again, Jeff mentioned this during that show, saying how we have not laughed so much since we watched Talkin' Shop-A-Mania. And he's right. Talking Shop-A-Mania, we cracked up laughing the entire time. And Jeff often says it's too bad we didn't do the video for that. We weren't. Yeah. We were doing audio back in the day. So, but we laughed nonstop throughout that whole entire show. And that .com match, they had one of these before, and I did not know what to expect. And the things these two guys did. When Moose went with the little Jack in the Box middle finger, and then all of a sudden you see the Dreamcast appear in the ring, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell is that? I'm like, is that a Dreamcast? And sure enough, he pulls the Sega Dreamcast and puts the little bloop to answer his middle finger. I lost
and then
it.
You get the usage of the keyboard keys.
Oh my god, the keyboard keys in the ring like Legos, where they were getting slammed, and then they use the chairs, and he brings in a gaming chair to throw at him. That was absolutely brilliant between those two. I loved that match. It was freaking hilarious. And every part of that, because the one we saw before, they were using just pretty much little computer pieces, like a computer microphone, computer keyboard, like other things like that. But oh dear God, when in your life would you think that you would see a Sega Dreamcast being used in a wrestling match? And then, like Jeff said, when he put those VR goggles on Moose, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, he's putting VR goggles on him. And then you see him standing up, and he all of a sudden he grabs the ropes and he starts dancing. And then you see him holding his hands as if he's holding something. You can guess what that would have been, but he's holding his hands out.
He was cupping something.
He certainly was. And then you see the Dancing Moose song on the board in back of them. Oh my God, it was hilarious. It brought such a smile to my face watching that. And
Joe, we might as well just segue into this.
Yeah, just go, because there it is. Look at what Moose's hands are, and then the VR, and Hendry's got the Moose video playing on the back. This was absolutely tremendous. And we talk about this segment, and this is the lighter side of wrestling. That definitely was what this was. And you know what? Kudos to both of them. Joe Hendry is good at comedy, and I didn't know who this guy was. When he came to Impact, I had to go back, and Nails and James Chadwick told me to watch certain things, and I did. And I love how he was out there making fun of people's entrances. That seemed to be his thing. He would do that. He would like make fun of the entrance music and things like that, and it was tremendous. And then he made these videos, and he did this one for Moose, and then he did the one for Cardona. You know, Cardona is Edge's bitch, which was just and then but not only that. So he's got a flair for that. But then Moose, this guy who can be the meanest SOB, invading Josh Alexander's home, snaking people behind their backs, doing all this nasty stuff. And the next thing you know, there he is in the middle of a ring with a VR headset on, dancing in the ring. I mean, come on. You have to have talent, because you can't just turn on a dime and do this stuff. So kudos to both of them. They put on such a funny. This was so funny and so enjoyable. The fans loved it, and I loved it as well. I thought this was a wonderful thing, and had to make everybody that watched it happy. It was tremendous. It was this Joe Hendry and Dreamcast, the best tag team ever. It's so great. And here I have to pull this up, because Joe Hendry on his Twitter, I saw this today, and here, let's see. He posted this. Let's see if I can find it now. It's probably way down on his Twitter post. There it is.
Hold on.
No, go ahead. That's okay. Take that. Just if you could just take that down for 1 second.
Yeah.
He posted this.
That's awesome.
There's the Dreamcast next to his title. So good. It's absolutely so good. Jesse saying my number one, a combo of 2 Firefly Funhouse segment and me getting tickets to SmackDown. Yeah, congrats, Jesse. That's awesome. You're gonna enjoy it. There's nothing like seeing a live wrestling show. And I went to see one recently, a Raw, with my daughter. It was really, really awesome seeing. Bonus baby, number 1, Impact No Surrender pre-show and all. Number 1, Mickey biting Masha's tongue at No Surrender. I do believe in Joe, no doubt. Yeah, I'm a believer. Yes. Monsters Ball between Trey. That was an amazing match. Absolutely amazing, like Dan said. Big Dan says the return of the Firefly Funhouse. Trey versus Crazy Steve. A lot of people saying that. Wow. Sami and Jimmy and all the Usos in general's segment at the end of SmackDown. James Chadwick wants you to spill the beans about Impact being a writer. LOD versus Demolition. Wow, is Michael King still going with his favorite matches? I don't think Hendry has ever had a bad moment. Dude, the guy is just brilliant. The return of Firefly Funhouse is Rick Joe, Impact pay-per-view, and also the tease of Legato and Judgment Day. Omos and Brock tomorrow. Just kidding. this show, The Insider. Well, thank you, Rick. Great wrestling this past week. Nothing beats Manchester United getting their first trophy in 6 years today. Dancing Moose, says Travis. Oh, my God. MJF and Danielson pull apart brawl. Joe Hendry proves life is about fun. Hendry, the anti-Bray Wyatt. Help Moose with personality. Mike Bailey and Gresham, too. Night, Alicia. Alicia's heading out. We'll see you. Can you imagine being in a meeting for Dog Combat match? Let's do this. Let's send somebody. Find a pawn shop. We need a Sega Dreamcast. Yes. All right.
Who are you sending out? Can you imagine if they filmed sending Santino to a pawn shop to get a Dreamcast?
God. Oh my
how
God.
Great that content would be if they sent Santino to a pawn shop to get a Dreamcast. And
Jeff, even better. Johnny Swinger.
There you go.
I need a Dreamcast, Daddy. You sell a Dreamcast? Send them to like news stores. So send them to a Best Buy or send them to stores that absolutely won't even know what a Dreamcast is. And just have them going, hey, Daddy, I'm looking for a Dreamcast.
Dreamcast.
That new Sega system that just came out, I'm looking for one of those. Oh, my God.
It's kind of like that Atari, Daddy. Or in television.
Yeah, in television, yeah. That would be brilliant. Brilliant. Greatest wrestling theme song. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's a good one. I can put that up on the poll. I'm gonna have to pick 4, so I'll put four up on the poll. So yeah, that's a good one. The Cobra appears. Mick Foley shows up. Brilliant, Jeff. Rick Joe says brilliant. One Monsters Ball match. Miguel versus Crazy Steve. Yeah, that was a great match. Great match. Well, there you go. That is the lighter side of wrestling. And what that also means is it's also time for Jessie Callan to do her stuff. So, Jessie, I know you're in the chat. Does Jessie have any jokes for us? The other question is he wrestling out there? And is he going to heckle Jessie tonight? We'll see, unless he nodded off to sleep, which could be. I had in television too, Arcade Shuttlesworth. That was my first video game system. My friend had an Atari. I never was able to get an Atari. My dad got me an Intellivision. I absolutely loved it. The hardest part with the Intellivision was you couldn't play games. A lot of the games couldn't be played single player, so you had to have your friends play. But I figured out that you could take the controllers and kind of play against yourself. Playing the sports games wasn't easy, but I figured it out. So, best wrestling theme song is Glorious. I still, to this day, and I told Jeff, say what you will, and I'm not saying that this makes him a good person, but the Real American song to this day gives me chills. To this day, whenever I hear it, I get a little tiny chill up my spine because it just, for all those years when he was on top of the world in the 80s and 90s, when you heard that, you knew he was coming down and kicking somebody's butt, whether it be the Iron Sheik or one of those villain people that do that, Sergeant Slaughter or King Kong Bundy or that, they were going to get it. And to this day, that's probably still one of my favorite theme songs ever, is Hogan's theme. Time for sleep. I really appreciate Jessie telling us jokes to help us all sleep well. C saying Jessie's jokes are like melatonin. Jessie said she had an Atari. Let me count how many jokes I have real quick. Jessie's jokes, then C's clapbacks. Yes, nothing like it. I had a brother, so I didn't have that problem, says Arcade Shuttlesworth. Where's the GameCube, brother? Oh boy, see, you'll love today's. This is cheesy dad jokes.
We
have a theme.
I like it.
We have a theme. Okay. Like Rocky coming outside. Oh, like I said, there's just something about like good theme music that gets you going. And you just know when you hear it, you're like, oh man, here we go. And yeah, it's a big part of wrestling, no doubt. Yeah, guys, give Jessie a half hour to count her jokes. Her dinners have to type and count.
She's asleep at the keyboard right now. That's what it is.
Her fingers. Yeah, I figured you would mean dinners. Her fingers. Voodoo Child by Jim. Oh, without a doubt. when Hogan went to NWO.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Whoever chose that, perfect.
13.
So 13.
Jesse has 13.
She's been saving up for weeks. Well, all right, Jesse, get him going. She used her toes as well to get to 13. Says, this is going to be a good one tonight because C's in rare form. So this is going to be good. Here we go. All right, Jesse, you're up. While Jesse is preparing to nod C off to sleep, we will tell you that, remember, tomorrow is Abby's window, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be the host. I will be tagging in for Jeff this week because Jeff's got a meeting at work. So it will be myself and, of course, Jody Gilly. Of course, Dom will be with us as well. And who knows who else might pop in. But we're going to break all of that Firefly Funhouse stuff down for you and talk about all of that. And what does that all mean? What is going on with that? C's going to stop in, hopefully, if he's not sleeping, and lay out his theory that he told us tonight for those who were not here to see that. So join us tomorrow night. It should be a really, really fun show. We've been doing Abby's overtime, with everything we got to talk about, including all the artwork and Caleb's Corner and everything like that. So we'll have a lot to talk about tomorrow, definitely with that fun house. So, or does she have 13 fingers? Says C. I'd say you guys' theme is also the best intro, Joe and Jeff. Well, thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's all, Jeff. Got to make up for all this lost time. LMSO, the Crow theme. Dude, when he first appeared in the rafters and they used the monologue, I don't know how they got away with this because that was right from the damn film.
Yeah, right from it.
They used the monologue with the girl talking in the background. Oh, that was tremendous. I was like, I love The Crow. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, and that was tremendous. Number one, how do you get a country girl's attention? A tractor. A tractor.
A tractor.
Oh.
Didn't hear the...
A tractor. I should have said instead of tractor. A tractor. How many of you have seen The Crow, by the way? If you haven't seen that, you really need to.
Go watch it. Yeah.
It's so good. So good. And if you haven't, and if you're a fan of that, read the book. Because the book does it, the graphic novel that he wrote. You have to remember, James O'Barr, who wrote and did that comic, had just lost his wife in a car accident, and she passed away. And that was where that came from. He was in a really bad place when he wrote that, locked himself away for months and months, and then wrote that book. So, number two, the man who survived both mustard gas and pepper spray is a seasoned veteran now. Oh, God. Wow. A seasoned veteran.
Seasoned veteran.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
I have a signed copy of the Crow graphic novel by James O'Barr. I got to meet him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And of course, Brandon Lee tragically passing away from a gunshot wound during the filming of that show. It's a tremendous movie. If you've never seen it, definitely check it out. 13 fingers. What kind of witchcraft shit is that? Says James. Number three, what do you call a pudgy psychic? A fortune teller. Oh my God. Oh my God. A fortune teller.
A fortune teller.
Wow. Oh man. Gotta love it.
Bonus baby getting in on the action, saying, or a sneezing
veteran. Yes. Jesse says, P.S. I'm a pudgy non-psychic with more chins than I want.
Oh, Jesse.
Oh, my God. Fat shaming now, Jesse. I know you like to go low, but that's it. But it's usually just on your husband.
Oh, dang. Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Holy.
Whoa.
That might need a drum solo for that one. That was a
Woo.
woo.
Hold on, let me.
Oh, that was a good one. Good night, John. Oh man. Jesse said, "Oh my gosh." James Tadwick is dying. James is dying. James Grant said, "Whoa, see, don't go there, bro." Hey. That was a stunner. That was a bit of a stunner.
Bonus baby, that is pretty good because he does say it's not a spoiler. It's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. So hey.
That is a good one. Good comparison.
It's a good one.
Wow, my eyes were watering from that C comment, man. That was a just a good one. Whew. Okay. Well then. Jesse can't even type her next one. Here we go. Two guys walked into a bar. The third guy ducked. Oh, God. I happen to like my four chins, says James Chadwick. Derek says, yes, Jake Paul lost. I know, I saw that at work. I was pretty happy about that. I can't stand him. He's him and the other one. I'm not a fan of either one. So, yeah, I'm glad he lost. Why was people walking into Sheamus and Cesaro, and why didn't they move? Says C. Are you talking about the bar? Jesse's joke. Oh my! See, I love this. Jessie is her own personal heckler, and I love it. I think it's hilarious. I didn't mean to turn you on. It's probably my favorite song about sitting on the TV remote control. Wow. That's clever. That's a good one, Barry. And actually a really good song by Robert Palmer, by the way, who's one of my favorite rock singers, too. Derek, indeed, he did. Yes, I know. I bet you a lot of people were happy with that. He lost to Tyson Fury's son, didn't he?
No, brother.
Brother, sorry. Tyson Fury's brother. Yeah. Yeah, good. I'm glad he lost. He's kind of pompous. So I'm all for that. So we're waiting for number 5. Here we go. Not everyone will get this one. Gotta know the song. My husband asked me to stop singing Wonderwall to him. I said maybe.
I know the song, so
I do too.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a 90s classic now, isn't it? Yeah, that was a 90s song. You're my Wonderwall. I remember that well. Watched it, but didn't pay for it though. Well, that's all right. Probably was it a good fight anyway? Fury Brothers versus the Paul Brothers at SummerSlam 2023. Oh God, could you imagine?
Who's the special guest referee in that one?
Yeah, right. Yeah, good. Yeah, good point. Who's going to referee that match?
You know what? Since he recently talked about doing work with the WWE again, why not Mike Tyson?
Oh my God.
How cool would that be?
That would be good. Number 6. Want to know why nurses like red crayons? Sometimes they have to draw blood. C says, yeah, that would definitely get annoying and off-putting when you go low. You're going to be the one to save me. Is that a song? His notes there. You're going to be the one that, yeah, okay. Okay. Took me a bit. It's getting late. It took me a little bit. Did you hear Drake bet at $500,000 on Jake Paul to win? Did he really?
Drake needs to lose some because he keeps winning all these big bets, man. He's got all the money anyway, so he needs to lose a bet every now and again.
Yeah, right.
I think he bet $1 million on the Chiefs.
Did he really?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, there you go. He won some, you lose some.
Yeah.
I Didn't Mean to Turn You On was originally by Sherelle, written by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, then Robert Palmer, then Mariah Carey. Robert Palmer did a lot of remakes. He Robert Palmer is a very unique artist, and he passed away much too soon. Looking for a good book, I recommend Stephen A. Smith's biography. I found out Nick Khan used to be his agent.
Yep.
Nice 90s reference. Number 7. What do you call an angry musician flipping someone off? A songbird. Jesse says, "See you nasty, LMSO. Nasty boys." Oh, 90s baby. Yeah, I'm more of the 80s guy.
Joe, I know this is not where you were going with the Nasty Boys comment, but I enjoyed them as a tag team.
The Nasty Boys tag team? Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I did too. If I'm not mistaken, they may have been from close to my area.
Okay.
I think I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they were from like the outside of the Allentown area, which is only about an hour away from me. So they were pretty close to from where I am. Number 8. Why do some couples go to the gym? Because they want their relationship to work out. That's clever. That's a clever one. That's very clever. Songbird. Nah, I call them Noel and Liam Gallagher. Oh man, you guys are brutal. That's actually my favorite song by Robert Palmer, by the way. I didn't mean to turn you on. A lot of people would say more than likely Addicted to Love, but I love that. I like that one better. And also Doctor, Robert Palmer's Doctor. Give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. Janet Jackson's Nasty Boys. That's a good song too. Mm-hmm. Number 9. What did Tennessee? The same thing as Arkansas. Oh boy. That's one you'd use in geography class. Oh,
that is.
Jesse waited for that joke. Waited, spelled WEIGHTED, till number 8. Oh, what's worse than Jason as your manicurist, Freddy Krueger as your proctologist?
I can tell you that you don't want Freddy doing your proctology exam.
No, you would not. Number 10. Why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use a honeycomb. Oh my God, Jesse. These are now I think we're getting back to before my age with some of these. These are some old ones coming up here.
These are on the Bazooka Joe bubblegum
wrapper. Yeah, and on the popsicle sticks.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, because I got a kick out of all of it. But
do they use the honeycomb though? Says C Wrestling. Oh my God. Oh man. I'm telling you, it's like it reminds me so much of the Muppet Show. So much. When Fozzie would do his jokes, and then there's Waldorf and Statler up in the balcony.
Yep.
Love it. Oh, I love it. She has 3 more, folks. 3 more. And in the meantime, I will tell you, again, come out tomorrow at Abby's Window at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Number 11. When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. Okay. Robert Palmer's Addicted to Love, great song, only bested by Weird Al's Addicted to Spuds. Weird Al was hilarious.
Yeah, so
hilarious. Jessie admitting her jokes are bad dad jokes. Now she's a parent. Got it. Thanks for confirming.
Good grief. C is just a savage this evening.
C's on fire. Yep. C's on fire tonight. I like them both, the Coug, Robert Palmer. Peter Gabriel has a brand new album coming out, actually. He has a new song out. It's really good. Jesse, number 12. What would the Terminator be called in his retirement? The X-Terminator.
That's good.
I'll be back.
After bingo at 3 p.m.
Yes.
In his retirement.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, the Coug, I like them both. I pretty much like all 80s music, honestly. There really isn't much I don't like. A couple bands here and there were a little less, but I'm pretty much a fan of most of the 80s music. Peter Gabriel when he was with Genesis, and then when he was doing solo stuff. Ex-Terminator, Jesse. Simple high school work there. Come on.
Jesse, this is how you know you've made it as a comedian. You have hecklers.
Yes.
So this is a good thing.
That's exactly when comedians have hecklers. That's what everybody says. You know you've made it. What state has the most streets? Rhode Island. Oh boy. Well, there you have it. On wrestling, we have Joe Hendry, and here we have Jesse Callan.
That's
NC
right.
Wrestling. So,
but I guess my question is, who's the dancing moose out of that duo?
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Who's Moose in the VR?
That's a good point. Good point. All right, guys. Listen, we went a little overtime. Thanks, sweet mother of Jesus, for miracles and the end of Callan Corner. Alexa Bliss says C is Moose. Oh my gosh. Well, look. Thank you all for being here. Again, thanks for all the participation. It was a really fun show. And again, thanks, Jesse, and of course, Steve, for entertaining us at the end. Thank you all for participating in our questions and stuff that we had for you. We will continue to do that because it really went over pretty well. And thanks for staying out. I know it was a little bit longer, but again, we weren't on for a while, so we had a lot to cover. But yes, please join us tomorrow. I will be there with Jesse and Dom for Abby's Window tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Jeff and I will be back on Thursday for Impact Wrestling, which is the follow-up to No Surrender at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. More information, more news will be coming out about that AAA event that we're going to do the watch along for. Also, my show, I will get that out. So my new show that I'm going to do, the wrestling ramblings of an old man. I'm going to be doing that as well. So that's going to come out on our channel as well. Just little shorts about things that I have seen in wrestling that I feel the need to ramble on, like Led Zeppelin said, ramble on. So that will be coming out as well. So keep your eyes open for that. That is it for us for tonight. Again, thank you all for joining. If you have not subscribed, please make sure you do. Please hit a like on the stream for us tonight as well. Hit the notification bell to be notified about when we have that future content. And please be kind to one another. Have a great rest of your night. Please stay safe. And hopefully we'll see you all soon. And that will be tomorrow for Abby's Window. Talk to you all later, guys. Have a great rest of your night and a great week in wrestling. Take care, everybody.